Take it away.
Hello, everyone. Good to see you again. We are here back with the next episode of Shadow of the Dragon Queen, Dragonlance, with the new story. Hope you're all having a good time at the moment, and we'll get right into it. But we're going to give some quick character introductions again, as obviously this is a new campaign, so we have new characters, and it's time to meet them. My name is Christian from Hermes D&D, and I am DMing this story and adventure, which is expanding a little further than the actual book itself. So stick around, watch for some custom story and roleplay, and we'll have a fun time. But otherwise, we'll get started nice and quickly, nice and easy, with our lovely wizard, Ada. Geordie, would you like to give a detail of what Ada looks like and how she acts?
She looks gorgeous.
Lovely.
No, she's got like bluey grey hair, lovely yellow, maybe or maybe not snake-like eyes. She just wears your everyday kind of get up. And now has a beautiful spell book that she has on her hip. And she's a bit here and there with her little personality because I'm great at role playing.
Perfect. Lovely. So we have Ada, our sorcerer. Next, we have Fenrir, the rogue of the party, the edgy boy that has a Batman backstory. So, Lachlan, would you like to explain your character? How he acts, what he looks like, and a little bit about him?
Yeah, so Fenrir, he is a 6 foot Fire Genasi with a tan complexion, jet black hair, and a slight tinge of light. Say the light, it kind of has a purple tinge to it. He has daddy issues. He's kind of gone on his own rebellious quest to find himself and do everything against his father's will.
Lovely. Next, we have the final two, who are double playing characters at the moment. So we actually have a party of 6 adventurers. So first of all, we have our lovely other member of Upcasters. Toby, would you like to explain the 2 characters you are playing? We have Relena and Dagar.
Yes, because I don't care for my mental health. I decided to play 2 characters at once. So first up is Dagar, the passive-aggressive barbarian who has no passive. He is the ex-knight of Solomia, currently in the very grey state of mind that order he follows, and is kind of just making his way as a sellsword, you could say. And then next up is Relena, the doesn't know she's a cleric, who is just a young little town girl who really doesn't know what she's kind of doing at the moment. She's kind of just here. She's just vibing. She just has. This is just the
This
next
is
year
life
for her. This is life for her. There's no kind of stoic events going on in her life. This is just year 23 for her. I'm pretty sure, and she's just another year around the sun. Another ordinary day.
I didn't know your voice could go that high.
Did I?
And finally, we have the lovely DM of our other campaign here on Upcasters, Raimi, being a player this time. And with your player, we have Leo, Tal. Leo being our wizard, and Tal being our wizard, and Leo being our barbarian fighter?
Paladin, straight paladin.
Paladin, that's right. We haven't got subclasses yet. We're all still very weak and squishy. So, would you like to explain who they are and what they do?
Yeah, so I'll start with Tal. She's a bit of a mixed bean as well. She's a warlock and also a wizard, because multi-classing is so much fun. She is a bit of a mysterious character, wearing lots of black and purplish colours. Wields a sword on her side. Has red hair that those that probably who have high perception would notice it kind of changes. Like every time they look at her, it seems to be in a different style or flowing. It's very weird. But she is very, very distinguished by the white mask that she wears. It's kind of shaped, a plain white mask with these antlers that come off on either side that she wears at all times. She does have pointy ears, so she would be some kind of elf. So that's Tell, and she doesn't say much, or hasn't said much to the party yet. The other one,
I don't think there's been an audible word this campaign.
No. I wonder how long until she does. Who
The best
knows?
way to voice two characters is not give the second character a voice.
Just
She left-
sign languages.
That's
Yeah,
big
she
brain
left-
thinking, Toby.
That's the only sign language she knows is the Shakas as well.
Yeah, she left Fenrir really confused.
Yeah.
Last session.
She did. And then we have Leo, our large hulking friend. Explain.
Yeah, he is a friendly giant, pretty much. He's ridiculous in height, 7 something. Has white hair, white beard. Seems to always, when he gives expression, it is in the form of his beard or moustache going either narrower or wider. He has a few scars on his face, on his body. He's just wearing a normal cloth at the moment, but always has his great sword on his back. A little bit larger than life, a little bit of seeing the wariness in the world, and has decided to be a little bit more chilled and take a step back and just go chill in the mountains for a bit with his family. So that's Leo.
Sounds like a nice way to live life, to be honest. Well, those are our adventures. We are here on the next part where we're all about to take in the fun and fantastic festival of the Kingfisher, which is taking place in the tiny village of Vogler. But you're all at the moment just upkeep with Becklin, Uthfahiren, as well as Thorn, the little gnome, and Derrit, Becklin's squire. As you just finished several things that had been happening. There'd been the small interaction with a couple of the party members outside on the cliffside, where there was a small spar happening, which turned into a interaction with some people they'd noticed, mercenaries that were from the Iron Bridge Brigade that seemed to be a bit more south than they should have been, and an half-ogre, Gregornus. Inside, there was another small altercation with some inventions happening on the second floor, with Thorn, our little gnome inventor from the Mountain of Nevermind. And then finally we had in the library a few of the other party members putting together some clues and pieces and trying to learn what they could after the interaction that happened in the session 0, where some weird reptilian creatures, not known if they're lizard folk or yuan-ti or some sort of weird amalgamation of a dragon eel with a person that's been crafted by magic. There's been a lot of speculation left up at the moment of what these things are. But with that having taken place, most of the study being done, the books that are of use being found and passed off to the people to give them further study last session, everyone is slowly now getting ready to head out and down to the festival, enjoying it as it's starting to take place, some fishing competitions and things like that. And then later in the afternoon, the reenactment of the Battle of High Hill, north of town, for the end of the festivities. But that is where we pick up, with all of you walking out of the door, Becklin sort of still inside as Derrit ushers you all out. Thorn nowhere to be seen as he's upstairs after a brilliant idea of being able to heat up a bath and having the test dummy of Fenrir possibly trying it out for him after being spurred on by Relena. But all of you now kind of just on your own whims. Derrit, after sort of giving you guys a wave goodbye, mentions that himself and Becklin will be down soon, but they've just got some things to take care of. And they'll be coming down with Thorn as well. So they'll see you all probably only in like 15-20 minutes. And shuts the door as you've all started to make your way down the path along from Thornwall Keep down towards the town square, the village circle, where the mayor's house is and the sort of center of the festivities are taking place at the moment. I'll pass it to you guys to have a little bit of a conversation as your characters start to make your way down.
Yeah, I'm just going to ask everybody, what is everyone's plans after today? Does anyone have any plans? Does anyone want to come join me on a quick trip into the mountains?
What do you plan on doing in the mountains?
Yeah, what trip?
So that's just where this life changer was from, who had some knowledge about these
From the books.
from the books. Yeah.
Oh,
That sounds like a lot of fun. I was planning on just traveling anyway, so I'll tag along.
I was planning on maybe staying a bit at Thornmore Keep and helping Beck on out, but there's it's kind of close to the city and causing me to trouble. I might tag along to that.
It was on the
There
other
you go.
side of the river, and the mountain range is pretty a few days travel from where we are.
Could I get a history check just quickly from Dagar?
Oh boy.
uh-oh.
First
8.
roll of the night.
From the last one.
Starting off strong, lovely. With an 8, as he's sort of mentioning things about the life changer, it sort of strikes as slightly familiar, like you think you might have heard it before, but you have no recollection of where. It's just like that weird, at the moment, sort of sensation of maybe you've heard about this in the past. You're not sure where, possibly. If it's from some keep down south, maybe the Duke where you came from, and your old mentor possibly might have known whoever lived at this keep as well, or you'd overheard their conversations. You're not sure. It sort of strikes a nerve for a second when he mentions the life changer, this individual from the books apparently they found while they were studying. Continue. You guys start to make your way down the stairs and the ramp that leads down into the city. As you are making your way down, you start to see and hear the happy villagers in Vogler, drifting in between homes and houses, walking out of their doorways. Some of them are walking across the street into other people's doorways, as some people are organizing sort of rump steaks and baked fish that they're bringing to their neighbors, and everyone's having like a jolly time. Some people are just enjoying the festivities in the streets, and a couple of people are obviously going across into other people's houses, and just it's a very open, welcoming feeling at the moment. Sounds of laughter and upbeat music as you start to make your way to the village circle and head down there, where apparently that's where the main festivities are taking place, and there's meant to be a speech being done by Mayor Raven soon. A couple of murmurs through the crowd as you guys are starting to walk between the people, as a lot of the crowd itself is starting to migrate towards the center where the village circle is. But continue as you guys sort of discuss what your plans are for either after this or even just some general things as you make your way down.
So this life changer you said, are they? What are they? That sounds familiar. I can't put my finger. Are they like some kind of idol? What?
No, he was a. He was a knight, and he was a protector of the lands. He was a mighty hero, and he was an owner of a castle up in the mountains there. From there, that's where he had more information about these Dragonelance, and the reason we want to go check it out is if these creatures are being made by Dragonelance, having more information about maybe where they are, where they breed, where they live, we could maybe then head there and see if we can catch whoever's making these abominations, or whatever magic or whatever thing is in place that are causing this.
And is this life changer still with us? Or is this information from like years ago?
When I was reading the books, what kind of time frame was it? Was it a recent one, or was it like 50 years ago, 100 years ago?
So you do still have the two books on you. You were given the one about the gods and the one about that. So as you have a quick flip just to like the back page of the book, you see that it seems to be time stamped. Let me bring up the note, as I was not expecting this. Give me 1 second. As there is actually an exact sort of year period. Okay.
Yeah, I'll definitely come along if they're causing trouble around here, this area. I'd like to do what we can to stop it.
In which direction was this? Was it east or
South. The mountain
south,
ranges
okay.
to the south of here, on the other side of the mountain. On the other side of the river.
And I've never fought anyone before, but I would like to get out of Vogler. And I don't know about any of you, but I can stitch people up pretty good, including this one. She'll like prod Leo like in his scar that he had that she stitched up for him.
Yeah.
So,
Have you had much
the-
medical training?
Oh yeah, all my life. That's pretty much aside from helping Thorn with his inventions. She gets like a distance stare for like a second. That's pretty much all there is to do in Vogler. Fishing is really boring. There's not much else going on. I don't like growing plants. Well, besides medical herbs, the like kind of crops and stuff, boring as well. I'm
Do
not
you
working at a
have
tavern.
like magical healing, or is it just like stitchy healing?
No. Like the healing, these fingers can do some magic. Like you should see how many threads I can put on a stitch. It is pretty quick. But no, I don't have any magic.
I do have a question. Thorn's experiments, have any been fatal? Because you kind of did sign me up against my will.
I did no such thing. I pushed him in a direction. I wouldn't say I palmed the blame off from me, but I palmed the blame off from me. So you can do it. None of them have been failed to me. The worst thing I have is this burn. I'll show like the back of her arm has this like kind of like under her forearm is this like kind of scorch mark. It's like real bad, like third-degree burn that's healed up. And I've broken my leg twice.
Going by, Leo quickly thumbs through the book with Tal beside him, and they're both sort of looking, and then they see on the second last page, it's dated 32 PC, which is for pre-cataclysm, so before the cataclysm occurred, and like this nation of Istar and most of the continent was destroyed.
Just a quick question. Is it like our current dating system where it goes 32, then goes to 0, and then the date then goes 1, 2, 3, 4? Or
Correct, yeah. So
okay.
32 goes down to the cataclysm, and then goes up past there. So it's dated 32 pre-cataclysm, the year 32, and right now you guys are in just roughly past year 100. I'll get an exact date later if you would like it, but basically it's been roughly about 1.25 decades since this book was written.
Okay. I'm gonna go to the healer. I was like, you don't have any
Sorry, millennia, not decades, 100 years, centuries.
any no magical healing at all?
I mean, how's that cut looking?
I'm just gonna whip out one of my daggers that I have and give myself a little nick just on the hand, and then like using my lay on hands, just heal it up instantly.
Who's the real healer now?
I used to be stronger. I've a bit out of practice. Haven't really been focusing much on it. But have you ever seen anything that kind of healing here in the town?
I don't. No. The only healer in the town has been my mother and my grandmother before her, but they, as far as I'm aware, I was only young. My grandma passed away, but I didn't remember my mum telling me she had any magic, and my mother hasn't shown any magic. Can you like learn that, or is that like a innate thing from you, or is that like teachable?
Yeah, it was not teachable. It is teachable, but it's more through your own devotion and self-guidance than anything else. People can show you the way, but you need to walk the steps yourself.
And then her hand's going to slip into her pocket and grab something, and she's going to kind of think.
Yeah. As you're making your way with the thoughts on your minds, and everyone's starting to head down past most of the main streets, past Westside House, where Lord Baccharis lives, as you see it again, Ada, and eventually to the town circle as you guys begin to arrive. Colourful banners and paper decorations shaped like kingfishers decorate the village circle. Temporary stalls sell food and colourful crafts. And in the center of the circle is an ancient tree providing a lot of shade to some people happily picnicking. From a temporary stage just beside the tree, a band of local musicians spirited song slowly to a close. As you can see, sort of in front of all of them, Mayor Raven Uthvogler is taking the stage. For all of you, for Raven, I'll put a picture in the chat. But basically, she's a tanned female, brown blackish hair that's dreaded behind in sort of cornrows, more or less, funny enough. And with a blue vest, yellow pants, and sailor's boots. She's a very upbeat woman. Relena, you've known her a little bit, but not fully acquainted with her. But she is a very boisterous, happy person, supports the fishers. She's head of the local militia, which not every mayor has been, but she's sort of taken that position up as well. Obviously, the protector of the town is Becklin, but the town itself does have like a sort of town militia of fishermen that know how to serve a little bit. They're usually the same ones that participate in the Battle of High Hill, and she's sort of a part of that same militia. But she takes to the stage in front of everyone. Welcome, friends. The mayor begins to raise her arms high above her head. Welcome to the Kingfisher Festival. Cheers and applause fills the circle. The mayor smiles widely. Today is a day of not only revelry, but also reflection. We are all here thanks to the courage of the heroes who came before us. Let us honor our founders, our family, and those who cannot be here to celebrate today. Enjoy the festival, Vogla, with good spirits, good times, and good friends. And she grabs like one of the musicians around by the shoulder. And look to the Kingfishers for good luck. An energetic round of applause follows the mayor's words as she does a bow with the musician. And with that, the Kingfisher Festival is underway. The musician, slowly after being let go, sort of does a twirl and begins playing on his string again, and a bunch of trumpets begin playing as the festival takes off into its entirety. You see some kites of kingfishers being flown through the air by kids, starting to take to the winds, and everyone begins walking in different directions, exploring the town itself. For all of you, you see the same thing. Townsfolk in some of the stalls selling food and drink, others selling small knickknacks and kingfisher-shaped craft and things such as that. You were told about apparently a fishing competition somewhere that's meant to be taking place with a prize. And then otherwise, there's just the revelry of the town itself and anyone that you may want to try to head to or speak to. So, around the table with everyone, as the festival begins in its entirety, what is everyone doing? Ada, what, everyone's sort of here at the moment. Well, actually, I'll pass it to you guys to sort of roleplay, because there may be a chance of some people wanting to head off and possibly read some of the books further, whereas some may just sort of say they're going to have a bit of fun. So I'll pass it to you guys, and I'll just watch and listen.
Dagar's not going to admit it, but he got his ass kicked a little bit by the squire, so he's going to just go grab an ale and like a bit of fish and just find like a nice bench to sit down on and just kind of rest his wounds and have a little bit of a short rest for an hour and just kind of sit down and just real mellow, chill for a bit and just kind of play off that he's not kind of got really sore ribs at the moment.
That makes sense.
Tal's going to sit with him just like directly opposite him on the bench and then just open up a book, and then she's going to continue to look at him while he drinks and draw a sketch of him.
So where are you from?
She just points to her book.
Yeah, me too. Traveling long? Yeah, a few days here and there down the road. You a big fan of Leo and his son? No, I just met him, so... God, you just don't stop talking, do you?
Gives like that I'm sorry kind of thing.
What about with everyone else? What's happening as the group sort of comes, the announcement finishes, so quiet sort of the quietness disappears as people begin loudly talking and having fun and jolliness.
Is there like games and stuff here, like little like fair games or something
Yeah.
along the lines?
Yeah, there's a couple of
what do we
small
see?
things happening around. So
Yeah.
apart from obviously all the stalls around, the music playing, the large fishing competition, which apparently is an annual thing, there are a couple of smaller games, things that don't look too complex, some children with sort of ribbon running around a pole. Other men seem to be throwing hoops around sticks that are a further distance away from them. Other people you can see organizing those paper aeroplanes of the Kingfisher and doing a competition, seeing how far they can throw it. So there's a couple of other smaller games around the area. Otherwise, the majority of it is this does seem to be a fairly market-orientated festival. There's lots of stalls throughout every street in every direction of many different things, and everyone's sort of walking along, starting to buy things, buy food, chewing them as they're walking.
Relation's gonna grab Ilya by the hand and just kind of take it to all like her favorite places, like all the, just get her like a little like flower necklace and stuff, and all like the classic fair things. Just take it to, like every stall and like little games and stuff.
Perfect. Running off together. And what do we have with, as everyone sort of heads off in their different ways, Fenrir and Leo sort of just standing there together as the last two?
Fenrir is feeling pretty lucky. I mean, he did win a bet against that. Is it half ogre?
Yeah, you got some extra cash in your pocket now because of that.
Yeah, so I'm feeling lucky. You know, chase the dragon. So I'm gonna head down to this this fishing competition. Wondering, I'm shite with a fishing rod, but I wonder if they'll let me use my bow.
Okay, it's worth a check and worth a find out. So you got to start investigating where that's taking place. Giving a wave off to Leo and mentioning you're heading off there. What does Leo do?
Seeing that his cohort, being his son and the guards, are all probably having fun and off, he is going to go for a fish, but he's going to go by himself and grab a bit of ale and just go for a dad fish by himself in a nice little quiet area, and just, you know, bit of grass, bit of ale, and just have a fish by himself.
Lovely. Well, first with everyone as the party starts heading in their different areas, these strangers just meeting for the first time with the wake of Ispin Greenshield, but with the encouragement of Becklin and everyone's own choices as well, wanting to enjoy the Kingfisher Festival one last time, as it was a thing that he often enjoyed himself, and partake in the reenactment battle coming this afternoon, as it was also something that he had a jolly time doing. Dagar, you grab the ale, having a sit down next to Tal, who begins drawing sketches of you. From Tal, could I get a performance check? And from Dagar, as you're sort of just sitting there having a nicer time, taking a look at her sketch and her drawing, give me a perception.
Oh, sorry, I did perception there.
Natural one.
Luckily, Tal, that was a good roll. With a 19 performance, basically you look across the paper every so often that she seems to be sketching on, using the seat backboard that she sort of is like crouched over leaning on as she's drawing, and looks up at you every so often. You blush a little bit as you've been in quite a lot of tension as of late, some good, some bad. But the drawing seems to be fairly accurate, like down to the details of like curls in your hair and things on your fringe and stubble. It's very nice. Like you might pay for this in another day or another time. But before you get too much of a chance to take a proper look at the picture, your hand is kicked out from under you as you sort of fall half and off of the seat and land smack down into the grass, spilling your ale. Oh, I'm so sorry. I was meant to play a joke. That went so badly. And you look up and see Yalmi.
Oh, kind of winced. That was my bad side, but kind of played off like, that's fine. It's yeah, good one.
Here, let me help you up, and she like grabs your
Yep,
hand and tries
no
to
worries.
help you to your feet
Yeah.
on the seat. So, have you had a chance to speak to Becklin about the extra work and possibly staying?
Yeah, I did. I had a little chat with her this morning. I'm going to help her, I guess, be the judge for this afternoon's.
Thank you, but we're just going to wait a second and make sure we're all good.
Okay,
Who's-
all the audio sounds good, but there's no
Yeah,
cameras
sorry.
on.
Yeah, my Discord just was like turned off. Apologies.
Yeah, we're good. We're back. We're good.
Stressful.
But as Yalmi sort of helps you to your seat, and both of you are sitting down, Tal even starts straight away drawing Yalmi sort of beside you with her arms wrapped around your arm, cuddling, which you sort of look across and see. Yalmi looks over and looks as well, as there's that awkward silence for a second.
I'll step on Tao's foot under the table.
Would you would you like to go and grab some fish cakes?
Yeah, sure. Why not? You probably know the best place to go to around here.
Yes. If we head up near the fish bowl, funny enough, the owner there, Uncle, he knows how to make the best ones. So yeah, if you would like to go for a bit of a walk, it goes along the side of the wharves as well, so you can see some of the fishing competition.
Oh, nice.
It's
I think Fenrir headed that way, so it might be good to see how he goes.
Oh, okay, no problem. Let's go. And she stands beside you, and puts her arm into like a triangle elbow beside her.
Tao, you staying here? Are you good here?
She turns, and as she does, she draws like a massive love heart on her book as she turns away. So you can see it, and then she slowly closes it and begins to just walk off into the
Just look at her and be like, you can't get to shut up this one. She's just too much. And I'll just offer my arm out for a triangle thing.
Oh no, she was like holding out her arm.
Oh, yeah, I'll awkwardly go, oh fuck, and then kind of take it then off mine.
Like so that you could
Yeah. I did the same thing. Like,
Put your arm
same
through.
thing, like, oh, and then go first and put mine back up and then kind of do the awkward like. Oh,
Instead of linking arms, you instead just like touch elbows with her weirdly for a second. But you finally link up, and she sort of gets a step or two closer as you guys start to make your way through the marketplace. Lena and Ada, as Relena grabs Ada and you both start taking off down a separate area as well. You see the town in its entirety, all of the people sitting underneath around the village circle and the tree and shade that it's providing, having their picnics and fish and things like that. You see a couple of people in the town of other races selling things. There's a couple of kenda that have ornaments of different fish designs, some made out of bone, some carved. A couple of gnomes here and there who seem to be selling just general knickknacks that you might need around the house, cutlery, stuff like that, but also things that could be used beside it for like gutting of fish, and a lot of fish-based things with Vogler, obviously. And then there's quite a lot of humans everywhere as well, just selling lots of different foods and things such as that, as you guys start to make your way through. Could I please get from both of you a investigation check, just as you start to make your way through town and walking through?
6.
Oh shit.
Lovely. As everyone's making their way through the town, it seems to be a fairly busy time, obviously. The one of the streets that you find yourself down seems to be one of the streets that goes from the village circle and behind the Brass Crab and toward the actual markets that are usually run in the town, which have been supposedly very done up. A couple of people you overhear as you're making your way down are heading in the same direction, saying they want to head there before the good stuff sells out. A little kid bumps into you, Relena. Sorry, ma'am. Are you okay?
Yeah, that's okay. I'm gonna kind of just squinty eye for a second and pat my coin first.
It's still there.
Yeah, okay, no, you're fine.
And does like a little curtsy too, and then she runs off. You see she runs over the streets, and about maybe 10 meters away, she like quickly grabs a hold of the side of the dress of her mum, who's got a fish cake for her, and hands it down. As it wasn't as malicious as Relena was thinking.
For a second, I thought it was that goddamn Jameson kid. You watch out for him. He's a little like redhead kid. That little motherfucker. He's like 10, and he always takes shit.
Oh. Okay.
As you guys are making your way through the marketplace itself and heading around, Relena, distracted by all of this, didn't notice Ada had spotted a rather nice little stall set up in the marketplace. As you guys finally make your way past the Wharfringer's office and into the main area down near the wharf itself. And it's a stall that takes up probably 3 tables, a large design across the top. I see that there's about 4 Kendir working there, some selling things, some moving boxes behind. And then the head Kendir is standing on top of like a pyramid of boxes and is about maybe 10 feet tall, roughly, shouting at the top of them. Come one, come all. Grab the curiosities that we have here today. I am Frostwin, and I sell the best designs that you'll see of sea serpents and everything and anything in between, crafted before your very eyes, as you guys start to sort of approach Frostwin. Relena, you don't know Frostwin personally, but you had heard in the marketplace that there was sort of like a crafter who would basically make the designs of the necklaces or the ornaments or stuff like that right in front of people, like a balloon animal basically, but with bits of fish bone and stuff that she would quickly put together as you guys start to approach. Oh, I see. Beautiful madams. It is nice to meet both of you. How can I help either of you? Oh, you must need something beautiful for the day to suit the own of yours that I can see?
Yes, my friend here needs I'll look her up and down and be like, a bracelet, like an armband.
I was gonna say I have no jewelry on at all.
Oh, lovely. Well, I know just the thing. And she like whips out one hand, and you see a bead.
Watch this.
A bead runs along, and you notice that it seems to be a pearl from one shoulder across behind her neck, down the other shoulder, and prepared on the other hand, being held the entire time, was a thin needle with on, as there was a hole on the bead as well. Timing everything, slides on top, and then she sort of arcs the needle across the sky, and you see the thread flies across as if she's doing like ribbon dancing. And as she quickly starts swirling her hands around in a very tantalizing dance almost, you keep seeing more things slowly being added to the string itself, as every time you see it for a second, in between her arms and her movement and the ribbon of it, there's another pearl, more things added to it, and eventually she sort of stops and then holds her hands closed. Would you please present me with your hand?
No.
You
Put my hand down?
put it out and reach it up a little bit, as the little Kender is slightly taller on the boxes, and he reaches down and outfolds his hands, putting it across your arm and onto your wrist, as you see a lovely necklace made with majoritingly pearls. At the bottom of it, there seems to be a large feather dangling from it with a couple of smaller feathers. The smaller feathers seem to be orange, and the long, deep one is a beautiful navy blue that seems to be reflective with a shine as you see it, like a lovely sort of bird-like feather. As it looks like this may have been taken from a kingfisher. That bracelet there, lovely, is for good luck, so that you have a good day today. You're all welcome to partake in the affairs as well of Frostwind, and otherwise I hope you have a nice... for both of you and your beauty that I managed to see today, it is on the house.
Oh, that's so lovely. Thank you. I just admire it for a little bit.
You're the healer's daughter, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Lovely. I have just the thing for you, and he pulls out a small little paintbrush. And then as he does, he sort of puts the end of the paintbrush around behind your ear. And as he pulls it back, you see that it's now dabbed with some blue paint, as if there was like a paint palette behind your ear. If you wouldn't mind, could I please have your hand? Knuckles first. Thank you. And does a very elegant looking, with a couple of like watery waves around the edges, infinity symbol across the top of your hand. That is the symbol of... your mother talked about it when I broke my wrist, which is why I wanted to bless your wrist. Mishkatel?
Mishka, yeah, Mishka.
Lovely. I hope you have a nice day as well and have good health. Ever since your mother took care of me, this thing's never been sprier, and sort of flicks his wrists.
Well, I'm glad she helped you.
Not a problem at all. Well, for anyone else, Frostwind does the most amazing creations. Come one, come all. And as always, we take care of our people. 2 copper pieces for whatever you would like. And a bunch of people start crowding around and sort of stepping in front of you guys, wanting to get whatever they can from Frostwind.
I was going to say, as we leave, I'd try and like sneakily put a silver piece on because I feel bad taking things without paying.
Give me a sleight of hand check.
If he sees it's okay, but I would try and make it.
Yeah.
Oh, 17.
Not too bad. You pop it up there, and you see like a little kid in the crowd notices and gives you like a smile, but Frostwind doesn't notice, and the rest of the crowd sort of paying attention as you pop the silver on the table. A couple of seconds go by as the crowd's rushing in front, and Relaina's sort of looking at the painting on her hand and wrist at the moment, and you see one of the Kendir notices it, grabs it, puts it in the box, and doesn't see where it came from, looks around, seeing who wanted to buy something, and it's so busy at this sort of stall at the moment. There's probably
just like
about...
me in the background, like just...
There's about 30 people surrounding it right now.
Oh god, okay.
Yeah, it's hectic, but otherwise you both start to sort of wane away and walk around the rest of the marketplace. Fenrir, as you're wandering around town, looking for where to go right now, can you give me an investigation check?
$23.
23, nice. As you're looking around, you get the best guess that it's probably obviously near the wharf. You're not sure where, though, as the town does have a couple of areas that you've seen, and it is like 40% coast. There's a couple of cliff sides here and there, but you figure they might be doing it at the main wharf, just down where the funeral was hosted. So you start making your way in that direction, and as you do, you see the townsfolk themselves, more people having a merry and fun time, goodities happening everywhere. You even keep your eye out a little bit to see if, with your own livelihood and way that you've gone about things, if there's any sort of shenanigans happening in the crowd, people taking things, pickpocketing, but nothing is happening. There's not even guards around at the moment. From what you'd heard, obviously there's a militia in a case that something happens, and apparently a bell is rung. You see the bell that was hanging near the tree back in the city circle. But other than Becklin, there's no active guards. This seems to be so much more different than the way that you grew up in that sort of city in the mountain. However, it is interrupted quickly as you're shoved to the side. Another rude encounter for today, the second for Fenrir, as you see the following individual step past you. Wearing very flamboyant clothing, very aristocratic, a purple sort of shirt with a teal overcoat with gold trimming, pauldrons that aren't metal but just more purple, and sort of large fluff coming out from his wrists and around his collar, gold boots, and a sword that is in a hilt on his waist. Balding at the top and blonde hair coming around in a weird shape that to a beard and around his chops, and then all the way around to the back of his as if he's got every hair everywhere other than on his scalp. As you sort of push to the side ever so slightly, and he's stepping past you, heading in the same direction where you now see the fishing competition taking place.
I'd just like to say, Fenrir says out loud, "Sorry goes a long way, mate."
Yes, it does. You are correct. I guess you should apologize.
Oh my word! Can I just fight this guy now? Sorry. I should have seen you coming. You're dressed up like a peacock. I don't know how I missed you.
Yes, I am, aren't I? Peacocks are rather beautiful.
God damn it.
I'm sorry that you're unable to afford dyes. I know they can be expensive in this day and age. Well, either way, on with the rabble, and turns and begins walking back to the wharf.
I hate this guy so much.
As you make your way towards the wharf, you notice sort of coming up and walking beside him from another area in the market, a younger boy, as you recognize the blonde hair, pompous outfit, and sword at his waist of Baccharis the Younger.
Now it all makes sense. Like father, like son, right?
You'd heard a little bit about Lord Baccharis Uth Estide, one of the nobles from Calaman, and his son, who was extremely rude during the reception, as you've now been greeted to both of them. You see they sort of take a seat near the edge and have some food that it looks like Baccharis the Younger had been sort of gathering for his father, buying from the markets, as his father sort of sits down and starts shoving his face full of fish cakes and different things, muffins, pies, and the lot. But that's interrupted from the sort of stress as a hand comes across your shoulder from one of the people that was at the reception, just one of the other people outside of town that you'd noticed along there. Hello! Are you partaking in the festival? I know a couple of us outsiders have been joining in, seeing if we can wrangle up some fish. I know it's been you and a lot of adventurers, or a lot of us have skill in this type of thing.
Well, yeah, I was hoping to, depending whether or not I could use my bow. If fishing rod, I don't like my chances.
I'm not sure. I was planning on joining myself as well. I asked around a little bit. Apparently, the mayor is about to join in, not this session, but next session. They do them every half an hour, and apparently she's the best in the town. So a couple of us are waiting for her to join in to partake in that one. The prize during that competition apparently is rather extravagant. Other events that they're doing apart from that one is simply bragging rights, apparently, for the fishermen. So you can go and ask now if you'd like to, but I'm just going to grab some food, and I guess I'll catch you back here in half an hour.
Yeah, no, sounds good.
Lovely. Starts making his way off. Just a regular, looks like more like a commoner, a human with a dagger at his side, and some sort of merchant or traveler. You're not sure, but seeing face obviously in this crowd of strangers, he wanted to approach you. But you head over and you see the mayor is already there. She's got a fishing rod at her side, very long but fairly basic. Doesn't seem to be much more impressive in nature, like she's some sort of rich, pompous person like Lord Baccharis. And you can see that she's talking to a couple of other people. One you recognize straight away as the man with the clipboard, back from the other side of the wharf. Wharfringer Umpton, the man who was gathering all of the gold for transportation across. And they seem to be setting up the competition together at the moment.
Okay, so I'd like to go speak to him in regards to whether or not I can use a bow.
Yeah, no problem. You start to make your way up. And you see there's a couple of other people surrounded, a crowd of maybe like 6 or 7. Okay, so we'll be signing up for the next 3 bouts. If you all want to come up, it's free entry. We're just popping down names so we have numbers. Make sure that you turn up and giving us your address so that we can hand out the final prize if you're partaking in session number 2 out of these ones here. May Raven sort of raises her hand. Is it worth even worrying about seeing who gets the prize? We all know it's going to be me. And a couple of the crowd sort of start hollering and shouting. Another guy shouts up, I know about that, Raven. I've been practicing for a while. Raven sort of shouts back, we all know that you barely feed your wife. And everyone sort of starts shoving.
No.
As the sort of roasts begin going back and forth between all the fishermen as the competition heats up, but it isn't a friendly nature. You can tell by their tones of voice, and you start to make your way up, approaching up to Umpton. Okay, lovely. The next person walks away, and you walk up. Session 1, 2, or 3?
Which session is the lovely mayor? I'll take the
Session 2. That's where we'll be handing out the main prize.
Okay, then session 2 it is.
Lovely. Some competition as Raven sort of gives you a bit of a squint and a size up as she looks you up and down from the rest of the crowd as she overhears this. Okay, no problem. What can I put down as your name? Wait, no, I had it here. And he pulls out a slip and a note. You were with, are you Dagar, Leo, Tal, Fenrir?
Fenrir.
Perfect. Love. Okay. I thought I remembered your face.
I have a question.
Yes.
This being a fishing competition, am I able to use my bow? I am shite with a rod. I haven't caught a thing in my entire life. Probably shouldn't have said that.
That definitely would be a festive thing to see. Outside of the competition, I'm sure everyone would love to look at it. I know that north, ahead of here, up the area where the wake was held, there's a bit of a stage there and some people having some fun, festive things. You might be able to head up there and do that. But unfortunately, in the competition here, there are some strict rules, and that would obviously conflict with the rules. The fish catch, as we call it, not that inventive, unfortunately. The Voglers are good fighters, as history tells, and when he saved the city, but not the best when it comes to artistism. But the fish catch, basically, will be a 30-minute bout, where you will catch as many fish as you can during that period of time. We'll measure up the total length of all of them, and the largest length of fish caught in its entirety will be the winner. The one partake with it, as some of the carp traveling through this time of year, and it's why we host it around this time of year, are very large, boisterous, coming down from the Vingard River, some of the larger ones from open sea. And part of the competition is if you get pulled into the water, then you are disqualified, as that is fairly often happening, and a lot of the crowd actually watch to see if people get pulled in. It's kind of like when you go to watch a speedway rally with the wagons. You're looking to see if one of the wagons crashes. So it's the same thing here. A lot of people want to see if someone accidentally gets pulled into the water and has a bit of a laugh. So if you had a bow, then you can't really be pulled in, unfortunately, and it would be breaking the rules. I'm sorry, but if you would like to partake anyway, there's no payment, and you can try your luck.
Yeah, what? You know what? Let's give it a go.
Lovely. May luck be on your side with the Kingfisher. And he sort of but otherwise he writes down your name, and you sort of head off. Half an hour to spare, waiting until the festival begins. From peace and quiet, finding some food and snacks here and there. By the way, for everyone, can you all take away? I've got the details here. I'm just working out how much you guys would have dropped in. So it's 3 copper pieces for sweets and pastries and things like that, and drinks here and there. So did you guys want to take away 1 silver piece each, just as you buy food and drinks during the festivities? So 1 silver piece as you guys grab some things. But Leo, you find what you're wanting, and as you're sort of walking past the wharf, manage to grab a spare fishing rod, as they've got a slew of them along the front of the wharf. All of the main fishers have brought them along, as some people that aren't even participating in the competition are doing the same thing as yourself. From one entire side of the wharf near the Vogler crossing, the half-built bridge, there's about 200 people along the edge of the cliffside, all fishing here. The town of Vogler is only a population of maybe like 400 to 500 people. So like half of the town is just lined up along here. Families bringing food and setting up their own sort of picnic areas on the cliffside itself. Everyone living life to the edge, not worried about the fact that it's a bit of a sheer drop to the water, just having a fun time. But you make your way up further east along the city, just here, where you end up finding a small little, looks like watchtower as you start to approach it. As you get a bit closer, it seems to be more like an outlook rather than a watchtower. There's a ramp that goes up, sort of just overlooks both the Vineyard River, and then downstream you see the sort of ropes connecting the trolley system that you took here with all the boats. But you find a quiet place away from everything where, despite the fact you're still in Vogler, the competition and the festivities have given you a bit of peace and quiet for now. What do you think he does as he arrives to this nice little nest he's found?
Takes his boots off, puts his bare feet in the grass, lays back against the tree and just throws a long line out and just leans back and...
Straight to sleep.
Yeah, that's pure serenity.
Resting and having some well-earned sort of relaxation and R&R. Can you give me just a perception check, as you're not really too focused on actually catching anything. You're just doing a dad's fish. You're just sitting there and enjoying the wait, to be honest.
5.
With a 5, as you're sort of just sitting there, you wander your eyes across south, as that is the direction you're currently kind of looking at. If you were to look a bit to your right, directly straight forward from this outlook would be southeast. So you just look a little bit to the right and your eyes wander off. You do see the mountain ranges. They rise up pretty high across the water. It does look like it would be several days worth of travel, however, to get there. And unlike a lot of the rumors that you had heard of that area when you lived in Calaman, there doesn't seem to be any sort of like dark storm or ominous feeling. It's the middle of the day where you are, and it seems to be the middle of the day over there. There's no cloud or forecast. You see the tops of mountain ranges and the area itself of where that keep is. As your plan possibly is to go to Nightlund and investigate Dargard Keep. But for now, that's another day, and relaxation takes a hold of Leo's mind. Just to see if he catches anything while he's sort of resting here, give me a survival check.
Oh boy. 12.
With a 12, as you're sort of holding onto the line, you do feel a bit of a tug as something takes hold. Can you give me another survival check?
Oh boy, here we go. 16.
16, lovely. As you feel the sort of pull on it, as you've been waiting here for probably about 20 minutes, not a very long period of time. It looks like finding a little area ahead of stream was the smarter thing. You're sort of being that one competitive fisherman without even realizing it, that's going upstream so that you can catch everything coming to the rest of the crowd. And as you sort of pull up, you see reeling out of the water about 20 feet below you from the sheer drop of the cliffside, a big dangling and wriggling eel that seems to be attached to the end of it. You reel it up along the edges, and you recognize it straight away as they're served as sort of cuisine back in Calaman as well. But you see a mature river eel, seems to be about 1.5 feet long. You're welcome to obviously unhook it, throw it back if you'd like to, but it's you've eaten these before. They're an adult.
Might be able to sell it to the fishmonger. So I'll just find a branch around me and pull it down, snap it, put them in the ground, get a bit of line out, and then make kind of like just a drying rack to sit the fish on as I just put it there, and again just throw my line out, just see what I catch.
Leo puts up the tree stumps, gets the eel prepared with a small hunting knife that he has, and stakes it across, and the line goes back in. As the next little bit of period time comes and everyone's sort of wandering around, I would say everyone, I'll check for Leo as well, but everyone else would definitely find their way along the wharf at some point, seeing Fenrir and the fishing competition taking place as round 2 is about to begin soon. who else would like to participate out of Tal, Ada, Daga, and Relena? And obviously, if you think Leo at this point might sort of have a little bit of a search around after he's fished for about half an hour, he can just keep relaxing there, and some stuff obviously may still occur during this period of time. But as he knows that it's sort of nearing and can hear the crowd sort of shouting a little bit near the wharf, if he still wants to approach, that's still welcome. But we'll go around. Ada, as you and Relena start to make your way there, you see Fenrir near the wharf, people signing up at the moment, and the competition getting underway as you and Relena see it together. What's both of your thoughts?
You gonna do it? Like, have you done it before?
Oh god, no!
Oh.
Fishing is so boring. But I like sitting on the wharf and watching. Sometimes, like last year, Old Man Withers fell in, and it was so funny. So he almost drowned. So it was
We
kind of
gotta watch
boring.
it.
But yeah, but it is kind of funny though. So yeah, I'm just gonna stand and watch. But you can have a go if you want. Have you ever tried fishing before?
Good. Well, yes, but I wasn't, again, very good at it. That was more of like other people in my family did it. So, we can watch, please.
Let's watch. We'll find a nice place. That's
No
it.
problem.
Yeah.
You both of you make your way with arms linked together, having a bit of a girly, fun time, and eventually find a bench to go and sit down on. Finally, having those nice fish cakes that Relena had been keeping her eye out for, and starting to sort of chew into them a little bit with some rice balls beside them to go alongside it. Dagar eventually, after finding the best best fish cakes in town near the fish bowl, has made his way, having a little bit of a date for the last half an hour with Yalmi. As you both eventually arrive to the wharf itself, Yalmi sees the competition going on. Oh, are you a good fisher? You've got the arms for it. As she sort of hugs on.
I haven't fished in a very long time. I've been a couple of years. I used to be all right. Oh, it's just a big, massive. I was talking about that. They had some competition on it. Do you normally go on it?
I haven't joined myself, but I would love the prize this year. I've got a little bit of an inside scoop, but I want to spoil it. But if you could win it for me, I can hang it up at my inn.
What do you know? What's the prize? Can you tell me or?
Secret surprises. Plus, I don't want to get your hopes up in case you don't win. I'm not sure. You might not get it for me.
I mean, I can't promise anything. It has been a couple of years, but why not? Sounds like fun.
Oh, awesome. And you both make your way up to Umpton, the wharfinger, who sort of sees Yalmi, gives her a wave and a smile, and then sees you. And you end up signing up and make your way across to the rest of the contestants, where you see Fenrir already waiting. Tal, as she sort of approaches the wharfing area and sees a couple of the squad already around in different areas, what's she doing with this sight before her? What's her thoughts?
She's a little confused by it, the whole fishing thing. So seeing what everyone else is kind of doing, she is... No, she'll just sit and watch and see what everyone else does first before she be a little
Okay.
bit, a little bit reckless.
No problem. She finds a bit of a seat to sort of sit down on, and continues a little bit of a sketch as she's watching everyone else. Away from all of it, as the half an hour time is coming and the crowd starting to get a bit louder south, where the competition's about to begin. What is Leo doing? Is he ignoring the loudness, or does he want to go and investigate this fishing competition?
Nah, he is sticking clear. He's just doing his own thing. Catch whatever you'll catch, and then just have a chilled time.
No problem. As about for Leo, about another hour goes by. Eventually, that turns into 2 hours. You've seen a couple of people walking along the streets here and there, couples linked arms, some of them having some secret kisses behind some of the buildings at this more quiet part of town, and then making their way with giggles and fun times, and eventually wandering around. Some kids running through the grass with their kites that seem to be just sprinting around Vogler. And eventually, at some point, you seem to fall asleep. You're woken up, however, by a swift, non-lethal punch in the gut as you're woken up with a thump. What are you doing?
I was enjoying a relaxing afternoon in the sun.
You know you don't get to relax, boss. That's not what you do.
So it seems. So it seems.
Well, look, Trowel's boring. He told me that he's got stuff to do, some things to buy, provisions for the travel back, stuff like that, and I needed some funnities in the such. Come on, we've got a little quiet space here. Let's have a bit of a wrestle. And he pushes your head away.
No. My shoes aren't on, and then I'm going to do a judo flip.
He's confused for a second. We don't wear shoes, and you quickly grab him. Give me an athletics check. I
hope you get this.
Spray on him. I'm not going to make it contest. I'm going to have a chance to go back. So just a flat roll, but lovely.
For 1 and 3, you
With a third. You grab a hold of him. He quickly tries to get into a counter position, so you don't fully throw him, but you turn it into like a grapple as you've got his head in like a full hold just underneath your armpits at the moment. It's cheating when you jump me like that.
It's just a surprise, and I'm going to do like a bear roll and like roll him over to try to then get. So I'm like just pretty much like my chest on his head.
Now give me a contested athletics check. As he's sort of struggling back, he puts 2 hands in trying to break free as you guys start MMAing on the grass. With a 19, he slowly starts to push your hands away. The grey's finally getting to you, and as that happens, he sort of wraps his legs around one of your legs, grabs a hold of your left arm, and starts like pulling as you can feel the socket in your left arm about to pop from the shoulder. Give!
I am going to use my Stone's Endurance ability to try to just ride the pain as I grab his leg, and because I am a larger size and I have a ridiculous lift carry things, I am just going to try to do a good old Russian over the shoulder pile drive and throw him over.
Lovely. With his entire body holding onto your arm and leg, you try to use just one arm to lift his entire weight arced over in a swing with a deep breathe in. Give me an athletics check as you use the Stone's Endurance and roll with advantage. And I'll let him roll with disadvantage.
22.
6. As you slowly start lifting your hand, his legs are having trouble, and eventually the heels unhook as you're sort of kicking them free. And now that he's not wrapped around your leg, all he's wrapped around is your arm. And as you slowly start like lifting it up a couple of feet, his chest goes off the ground, and then you lean your body forward and then swing it back as the entirety of him flies up vertical for a couple of seconds, and then smack down into the ground on his back. Oh my God!
How's the greys in those ones, mate? And I'm going to help him up.
The greys are good. And he starts getting back up. My God. Okay. He grabs one of the eels off and starts chewing a little bit of the meat.
And I'm going to smack him. We're going to sell it so we can get home safely and stay at a few inns on the way home.
Okay, fine. And let's go, and you and him start sort of chatting about some of the glory days and the fights and trips to Esterwild.
Because that probably did hurt Leo, because he's getting old AF. I am going to use another 1 point of lay of hands just to rub my shoulder a bit when he's not looking, just to... Oh, the bones.
He did nearly break your shoulder, and there would have been damage involved if you didn't stop it. As he was... You guys, you play fights. But as that sort of undertaking happens and the talks of Esterwild is, Bjorn is one of your longest friends serving in the forces. He was never promoted due to his hot-headedness, but that's why you picked him to join with your forces when you were promoted. You trusted him, and he was more or less a best friend. But as that is undertaking, we travel back down south along the cliff sides of hundreds of Vogler citizens farming and fishing and their areas set up. The group of people throughout the city streets that are still enjoying the festivities underneath the village circle tree, people coming in and out of the brass crab and the fishbowl, and other people going into other people's houses. Everything quiets down ever so slightly as everyone sort of finds their place, but the festivities are still very loud. It's just going from a loud shouting of everyone trying to talk over each other to just a murmuring now of all of these friends and neighbors and everyone chatting between themselves. And we end up arriving at the wharf just near the marketplace. As you guys had been waiting, Relena and Ada, you did hear the sort of shouts down a bit south from you, maybe 60 meters away, from Forswin, selling more things as he does more of his dancing displays atop of the boxes. At one point, you see him bouncing across the leather tarp roofs of some of the stalls and landing on another box, as he seems to be, like many Kenda in this world, fearless. But the competition finally starts taking way as round one finished with one of the local fishers that a lot of people seem to be cheering for winning. No one fell in during the first round, as it was sort of just not many people taking it very so competitively. A lot of people round two, which was meant to be the big one, where there's a lot of outside towners, the best fishermen, the mayor, and people sort of joining in. But everyone starts lining up along the edges of it. Fenrir, you're called up to your spot. There's a little number plaque. Dagar, you're called up to your one in the same place, and you seem to be like two people away from Fenrir as both of you lean forward and see each other.
As I kind of walk past to like go to my spot, I'll give him like a little gentle like elbow on the back and be like, "Hey, Fenrir, when I win this, try not to get hot-headed," and I'll walk away with a wink.
That was low. That was low.
As you make your way along on one side, and as you two are the only people participating out of the party at the moment, you do look behind and see a couple of familiar faces. You see Relena and Ada, who both give you a wave from their seats. You see Tal, who Dagar, when making eye contact with you, sort of holds up the book, and there's just like a big pair of lips with sort of glowing asterisks around them that she sort of holds up towards you. And then
back at her.
A bit further away, you see Yalmi, who seems to be near a couple of other people from town that she recognizes. You see one of them is the drum player that was at the reception, that was playing the horrible music.
Oh, God.
But otherwise, everyone's watching. And Fenrir, you see sitting a little too close to comfort for you, maybe 10 meters away, on some seats near the wharf, is Lord Bakaris and Bakaris the Younger, who are also watching the competition at the moment.
Are they still eating?
Yes.
I want to walk up to Lord Bakaris, grab a few of his whatever he's eating, and I'm like, this looks like good fish bait.
Give me a sleight of hand check just to see if you can grab it before he sort of covers his stuff, as he does see you sort of walking over.
13.
13. He quickly tries to start pulling it away as Bakaris the Younger is just kind of a bit confused by what's happening. But as he seems to be both sluggish, fat, and old, you quickly nab like one of the cakes, not from the basket, but the one that was in his hand that he was about to eat.
Even better.
I do say, but you've already sort of turned away and walking, and you hear him shouting out, Raven, did you see that? And Raven's like, shut up, I've got a competition to win, and is like in full brawl, shoulders like arched over, head scowled forward, as Raven's like getting into full game mode at the moment. But the competition begins. Umpton shouts out, round number 2, the same as round number 1 as you all saw. You have 30 minutes on the clock, as he sort of holds up a large sands timer. I'll be flipping this on the count of 10. When that takes place, fish much, fish many, and catch as much as you can. The Kingfisher catches 10 fish a day, measuring 10 feet long. Can you measure the Kingfisher? I know we haven't had it yet. The last year, Raven won again with a staggering 8 feet worth of fish. Let's see if anyone can beat that. As you all know as well, on the line here today, we have our competition and prize. Claps his hands, and you see a couple of people carry up on stage, and there seems to be both a blue knit cap made of fishing line, a weird blue knit cap with sort of designs that seem to be a very bogan looking beanie that you might wear if you were fishing, some hooks sort of hanging off from certain edges that just seems to be designed in that way. And then past and beside it, being carried up by 2 people, there is a much larger, probably 5-foot base wooden carving of a giant kingfisher bird with its wings arced left and right, a large majestic beak coming forward, and chest proudly pushed up. And underneath its feet on the base of the pedestal, a large carp fish, the local fish of the region, held underneath. And as you sort of look over Dagar to Yalmi, she sort of points and smiles, nodding her head.
Yeah, I'll give her a look like, yeah, fair enough, yep.
As you've now got something that you need to win for her.
God. Pressure's on.
But the final thing here today is, as always, we will have the infamous prize named the Breaker of Bonds, which is a title anyone will be given for the rest of their lives in Vogler if they manage to catch Benegog the Lion, an enormous, curious carp, a legend in Vogler, and many people sort of laugh, and a couple of people are talking. Some of the kids like widen their eyes. Some say that Benegog is 15 feet long and eats fishing boats whole with a single gulp. So, if any of you catch him, you'll gain the title. But for now, though, let the competition begin. 10, 9, and everyone starts getting their fishing lines ready.
Putting that food on.
Putting the fish cake on. Maya Raven is in like a sprinting position. She's got one leg like arched back and the other one at like a 45-degree angle, getting ready to like throw the line as hard as she possibly can. And a bunch of other people you see. A bunch of the fishermen around the area as well. 6, 5, 4, and you see that as they're sort of shouting upstream for the main bit of this competition, you can see that a couple of people are sort of shouting and clapping and banging on kitchenware about maybe 200 feet upstream. And as all of that's happening, you see a royal of fish rushing down the water, jumping out, skipping, carps of many different sizes, some the size of your finger, some, however, the size of your arm, as they're varying in different amounts of feet, rushing down. As this is beginning and the 3, 2, 1 takes place, can I please get a perception check from everyone, other than Leo, but I will get this from Tal, so you can still roll.
Oh.
That damn mask.
Dagar got a 12 and Rolana got a 10.
Oof. Ada and Tal are both interrupted. As the 3, 2, 1 is coming to a close, there's still that shouting from Lord Baccharis, who finally stands up. I do say he should be disqualified, and sort of catches everyone's attention for a second. And unfortunately, no one with their rolls there notices in the mass of all the fish leaping out of the water and gulping one of the 5-foot carp wholly in one bite. A giant carp is unseen as it dives back into the water, as Benegog the Bog is here at the moment. Okay, so the way that this little mini game will go for our Fenrir and our Dagar is the competition of the fish catch. Raven is ready. Time to find out who the Kingfisher of Fisher Folk is. The Fisher King, as she's sort of with her line in the water, pulling it back as there's some groans from the other people and laughter from the puns. But basically, there will be 3 rounds that you guys will get a chance to roll for. And this is over the 10 minutes as you're waiting for a fish to jump on the line each 10 minutes as the fish are starting to rush down the river at the moment. It will involve a survival check first to see what fish jumps onto the line. The same way we actually did a little test run just before with Leo. After that, there will be a survival check to see whether or not you manage to catch the fish that is on the line, as some fish are easier to catch than others, obviously, depending on their size. A caster has advantage on this if they brought their own fishing gear to the contest rather than borrowing the fishing gear they have there. None of your backstories or inventories have fishing gear?
No.
No, so flat
Can I
rolls for
use
that.
dark vision to kind of look in the darker parts of the water?
Because unfortunately it's murky, it's not darkness.
Okay.
So it would be very similar to sort of like magical darkness, where eventually the way that murky water sort of works is it's very similar to fog, and dark vision dark vision sees through darkness. It doesn't see through the fog cloud spell, for example, because that's creating a visible thing that blocks your sight. The murkiness of the water is acting the same way, but good try. With the rolls, if you fail the check that is required for the fish that is on your line by 10 or more, you're pulled into the water and out of the contest. So we'll repeat that 3 times and see who manages to catch the most amount the longest length of fish in its entirety in feet. So as everyone starts going one by one down the line, Maya Raven, as she's done that huge reel and starts saying the pun, making some people laugh, but you realize the seriousness on her face. The pun was all a game. Everything's a game. She's still paying attention as some of the fishermen are looking towards her, and then realize that she's not a second is wasted. She's already reeling in fly fishing at the moment, rather than waiting for something to jump on the line. And then within the first 2 minutes of this 10-minute round that you guys are going to be rolling for, she's already caught 3 feet worth of fish. She catches one, a couple of minutes go by, she catches another fish, and one was a 2-footer, and one was a 1-footer. Both fairly big in either size, one being a carp and one being a river eel. And everyone's getting a little bit worried. Another fisherman down the end catches a 2-footer as the competition's going by, and you guys reel yours in yourself. Fenrir, can you please roll me a d20 just by itself? So in the chat box, this will be /r space 1d20 if you haven't done a custom chat before. But with that, this will decide what fish jumps onto your line.
Okay. Sweet. Sorry. How?
Let me just... so, I'll type it out for you. /1d20. Just like that in the chat box.
Okay.
Let's see what you get on the line.
Now,
So
there's no advantage to this because I'm using old mate's.
Yes, this isn't your own gear that you've used for a long period of time. This is a flat roll to see what you can do.
That's not sending through.
That's odd. I'm able to do it on my side.
/R1d20.
Space, yeah, /R space 1d. There we go. Okay, so with a 9, as you feel it coming up, you do feel a tug on the line. Doesn't seem to be extremely heavy, and as it's sort of coming up, it seems to be a bit of a thicker shape in the water, probably a carp rather than an eel. But give me a survival check as it's starting to get closer, and you're getting ready for like the final sort of reel in to pull it in. 13. A 13, as it's pulling in, the rope you can feel it getting tight, the fishing line close to snapping, until finally you sort of give one tug and flying out of the water and landing a couple of feet beside you Slapping around, you see the tiny curist carp that you managed to catch. Seems to be about 1 foot long. Not the worst, but not the best, obviously. It's something, however, as you grab it, chuck it in the little barrel that you have beside you full of water. And that's your first one as you fling the line back inside. Dagar, can we get a d20 to see what fish jumps onto your line?
14.
14. With a 14, you feel a bit of a heavier pull, and as it's coming up, you see all the fishing lines. Some people not able to get anything at the moment. Maya Raven pulling in a third fish now as she's catching something, and you see that yours is kind of wriggling left and right very quickly. Give me another survival check.
It's only an 8.
Lovely. I actually just realized. I'm doing it the right way. I was worried for a second that it was a survival check to see what fish jumps onto it first, but no, that's just a d20. Okay, perfect. With an 8, as you're pulling it up, you see that it seems to be like a mature river eel, unknown to you, similar to the fish that Leo caught. As you're pulling it up, however, you're getting ever so closer when you're interrupted. Your train of thought snaps as you pull too quickly from a as you're shouted at from about 2 feet behind your ear, and then sort of like running away and sitting down back beside his father. You see Bakaris the younger from the reception.
I'm gonna kind of be physically trying to hold back this, letting out my second rage, and just kind of white knuckling this rope as I'm pulling it back in, and just kind of trying not to fucking go and beat the shit out of that kid.
He goes and sits down beside his father, and his father, you see, is still stuffing his face, a bit angry at this moment, with a large drink, and seems to already be drunk at this point. As the fishing line snaps, and you have to call someone over to come, wasting precious minutes to reattach a new line, get fishing again. As you see, Yalmi sort of looks over and shrugs her shoulders to you sadly, as you're trying your best at the moment.
Vein pulsing at the side of my head.
Loudly shouting out as the next round begins here, Lord Bakaris drunkenly starts shouting, look at everyone here. I've heard rumors that the knights were meant to be competent fighters. I guess fighting a fish is a bit beyond your capability. As shouting up towards you, Dagar. What, is the carp a bit too evasive for you? Just like the cataclysm, huh? Apparently that evaded your ancestors.
Can I yell out, so has your hairline?
As he's shouting and everyone's trying to catch for the next round, that will give you disadvantage on your next check, Dagar.
Right, as a bit of blood goes from my nose as I'm trying to hold back my fucking anger at the moment.
But from the quip back quickly from Fenrir, can I please get an intimidation check?
Please be good.
With a 10 as you shout back, telling him about his hairline, he simply shouts back towards you. I'm sorry that unfortunately you cannot have as amazing as a beard as myself. Yes, I've lost the top of my hair, but unlike others, I've managed to go through something we call puberty.
I'm not sure what puberty is. Is that some?
I know you're not.
Where you get really fat, or?
As the arguing goes back and forth, still shouting. As you sort of turned and you've realized that you spent like a minute arguing him rather than fishing, you turn back towards it. But with the disadvantage, first of all, I'll just get the d20s again. Fenrir, a d20 to see what fish jumps on your line.
Please be a natural for me.
While they're doing that, Tell is just going to try to find a little rock or something to pick up.
100%. I'd say it's not too hard. You look down on your feet and the cobblestone ground. There's a couple of pebbles everywhere, especially on the edge of a fishing area where there's the sides of the wharf and the cliffside as well. She easily manages to find one.
She's going to cast the light spell on it. Before you tell your rolls, Fenrir, she's going to cast the light spell on it and then just throw it out to where he's casting his line to illuminate the area so he can get a little bit of help just trying to find a nice big fish to throw his rod at.
Lovely. As the stone flies in, can I get you to roll the d20 one more time, Fenrir?
Oh, again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Lovely. With disadvantage, you get 14.
Fuck.
As the the rock falls into the water and the light, you see a bunch of silhouettes of fish dart away in all directions, scared by both the noise, the vibrations, and the bright light in front of all of their eyes. You had seen that it looked like maybe like a 5-footer was coming on, and then instead, as they all dart away, something quickly catches a hold, and you can see a eel about the same size as the one that Dagar was pulling in instead jumps on the line as you look behind and see Tal in a sort of mid-throw position.
I swear she hates me. I swear she hates me.
Seeing the effect that I caused with the light on a bit of a stone, I'm going to go to where Raven is and start to mess with her chi, doing this
Okay.
similar kind of thing. I'll also step it up a little bit. No, I'll just do the light thing for now. That's fine.
Okay. But you still got that eel on the line. 14 is still something. Give me a survival check.
Oh,
Lovely. With a natural 20, you reel up quickly. What I will give you as a reward here for a natural 20 is not only do you pull up the river eel, someone goes to pull up a net and they don't even need it. You're sort of breathing heavily through your nostrils. Fenrir is getting into the competition. You already beat an ogre. Now other people are messing with you. Bakaris is annoying you. You don't know whether Tal likes you or just hates your guts. And you reel up and pull the eel into the bucket, slam it down. You don't even realize that it was even larger than the one that Dagar was pulling. This is a 1.5 feet. So now you have 2.5 feet in total of fish. I'll let you quickly slam it back into where you saw one of the silhouettes and try to tug again. So I'll give you a free another check with this natural 20. So give me another d20 to see if any fish manages to quickly get caught on the line. A 7.
7, yeah.
Give me a survival check. You feel something light. It's a bit of a tug.
Oh,
Jesus.
We're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep. You're doing a raven at the moment. You slam, and it seems like you caught a tiny eel. It's only a foot long at the moment, unlike the mature eels, which are about 1.5 feet. It's still better than nothing. You've got 3.5 foot at the moment. You're the second place citizen at the moment, and you're a couple of feet behind Raven. You quickly slam it back down to another area of the silhouettes. Give me another d20.
you know what? This is probably all Tal.
18 on the line finally, as you feel that same weight that you sort of felt before. You see a large shadow coming up the river. It's a big tug back and forth, and it seems to be roughly about 3 feet long. This would put you 1.5 foot ahead of Raven if you manage to land it. If you're sort of sizing it up properly as it's coming in the water. You see a little bit of the wood of your line starting to snap ever so slightly. It's not making your pull-in weaker. You can just tell the weight of the fish. Give me a survival check. An 11. As you're pulling it in, you hear another shout back. Babyface can't do anything without a bottle. And the line snaps and breaks and flies into the water as the fish carries the top half of your rod away.
Oh my! Is that from the same family?
That was from a drunk Lord Bakaris right behind you.
Seeing
10 meters away.
as Lord's just not learning his lesson, I'm going to very sneakily just walk out of there, do a loop, come around behind him. And then I'm going to use prestidigitation to soil his boots to make it look like some kind of brown liquid, and then instantly create an odor that smells of horse dung. So the people around him start to smell shit and hopefully see the shit on his boots and running down his leg. To embarrass him just ever so slightly.
Give me a intimidation check.
20.
Lovely. As Dagar unfortunately still has disadvantage as the rambling is going on. The batter from Bakaris the younger, Bakaris the older, still shouting out about the cataclysm and the fact that Istar was just as useless as the Knights of Solamnia, and everything going on at the moment. Finally, someone beside him. Mom, who stepped in horse shit? The woman sort of looks around. Honey, you didn't from the stables, did you? No, I swear. I cleaned my boots. I told you. You wanted me to look presentable. And then he sort of looks to his left and sees Lord Bucharest, and then sort of politely stops. A couple of the other people around the area heard this as well and start sniffing. And then you see moving about maybe 5 feet away in all directions, everyone sort of ever so slightly edges away. What are all you fishmongers talking about? If anyone smells like shit, it's you. It's... Get out of here. And you see that he grabs Bakaris the young guy and starts like dragging through the crowd. Father! And both of them start making their way through the streets at a quick, hurried pace, away from the area, removing the from this fishing competition. As he walks off.
The little joys.
Dagar, as everything's going on, you give a quick glance over your shoulder, and you see that Yalmi has like her fingers crossed and is looking towards you. Give me a d20 to see what fish comes on your line.
Still like white knuckling it and talking to myself. I'm like, oh, hey, better, fucking funny little fucking spoiled punk, fucking little better your fucking head. 8.
You feel something tug on the line lightly. Give me a survival check as you're sort of just angrily reeling in as heavy as you can.
Fucking fishing in this goddamn competition, natural 1.
You roll for Elena. Just.
Yeah, it comes up. I don't know. I think it's just other things.
If you have someone selected when you do a default roll, it'll say that it's them doing the default roll. But the wisdom, the survival check was from Dagar. So as you're heavily reeling in, you give one large tug, and you snap the handle off of the reel, and the line breaks, and you just hear as the line flies back into the water, and it looks like it was only like a 1 foot long river eel, but even that managed to get away from you.
Give me strength, and I'll kind of walk just very angrily over to the dude who has another rod.
Seeing your anger, but still sort of enwrapped in the competition, the mayor sort of shouts forward, he needs a replacement. And Umpton sort of jokingly sort of starts walking over. Oh, all these new folk breaking our rods. Well, luckily we've got some spares, and he starts carrying another one down to you and hands it across. As she seems to be a good sport, despite the fact how competitive she is getting in this. She pulls out her next line, but she realizes, and you see quickly, she ducks down for some reason, and then launches with like a combat roll to the left, runs upriver, maybe 20 feet along the wharf, and then quickly casts her line again as she sees the sort of glow in the water, and looking behind at Tal, who is holding the little stones, instantly assessed the situation and acted accordingly, and begins fishing in a different area for fish. She finally starts pulling up another one. You haven't seen the length of it yet, as the competition finally is coming to a close with a couple of minutes left. This final 10 minutes, let's see what everyone got on their lines. Now, there is one fish in this water that will beat anything at the moment, if you do get it, Dagar. And for you, Fenrir, there's a couple in here which could put you in a leading position. You're currently on, have you been keeping track of this? How many feet you've gotten?
3.5.
3.5. So you're in a fairly good position at the moment. You're not sure what the size of this last one that the mayor's got is, but at the moment, she's on 5 feet. So you're not sure how much bigger it could be or what she's caught. But can I please get from Fenrir first a d20 to see what gets on the line?
I do have a question. Because she ran from her mark, I don't want to be a narc or anything, but is that like a disqualification? I mean... We were given specific ones.
Oh my god, I just realized something. I'm so sorry, Dagar. We're going to rewind time a little bit, everyone. The DM did an oopsie and made a mistake. As you rip off the line and the reeling zzz of the line starts flying forward from the eel carrying you, it gets
Oh, no.
caught and wrapped around in a
Oh,
knot,
fuck.
and you're dragged and pulled into the water as you
Yeah.
face first launch off of the wharf as the eel gets bit by another larger carp, and the weight of this larger carp carries you 5 feet, 10 feet, 15 feet, 20 feet through the air, and then you smash down into the water with a forced dive. You stand up, it's about waist height, and you just hear laughter from everyone.
I'm gonna like come up with a smile, my eyes like very furiously twitching. I'm just stand there for a bit, just kind of take it in.
As you make your way back, we then get to the next round as Raven sort of asks for the new rod for you, and time regains how it was. But you do see Yalmi gives you she sort of walks up to your pedestal and pulls out her handkerchief and starts dabbing a bit of the water off of your face. It's fine, it's fine. If you don't get it, you can just buy a drink for me later. How about that?
I just give a nod, but you see the veins.
She puts like a hand on your cheek for a second. Oi, look at me. Look at me. What color's the sky?
Blue, grey, and grey.
What color is it at 4 p.m.?
Pinky purple,
What color is it at 7 p.m.?
black, purple.
Okay, lovely. That's the day. Days gone by, stress gone by, breathe. And she does like a little bit of a... you realize that you're focusing on like what the actual colors were, and it kind of caught you off guard for a second, and relax and stand back up, getting ready to fish in line without disadvantage this time. Fenrir, can we get your final D20 roll to see what fish gets caught on your line? 11. Not the worst, not the best, but something. You feel a bit of weight to the line. You start pulling it up, and you see an eel of some type. Seems to be an adult. Seems to be long. Give me a survival check.
Oh,
A 9. As you're pulling it in, pulling it in, pulling it in, pulling it in. Do you have inspiration at all? Just
no.
checking. As you're pulling it into the final last bits of it, a larger carp, you see a silhouette of some huge creature grabs the eel that you're with and disappears back into the darkness, much larger than anything you'd seen. And the probably like 2 inches of the top of your reel is just snapped clean, and you feel the weight of the line being carried out until it reaches the end, and the line falls like out of your hand at high velocity into the sky, and then gets taken down into the fish ate the eel that you did have.
I was looking around like that could have been me.
Next up, Dagar. You see that Raven's caught her fish, and everyone seems to be applauding from whatever she's managed to catch with her final amounts here. There's a couple of people also surrounding one of the fishermen, who seems to have done a pretty good job himself as well, apparently, from how everyone's reacting. And there's like the last 30 seconds left. Most people have sort of stopped as they're getting their stuff measured up. And there's a couple of other desperate people that also haven't caught anything, that are sort of trying to do whatever they can. Roll me a d20.
I'm gonna like kind of take a couple of deep breaths in, and then this is only for attack rolls. But can I use my Squire of Solemnia feat for a precise strike and try and throw right where I last saw the bog, the big fish?
100%. You saw a couple of obviously stalls up from you, Fenrir, and his eel being snapped a couple of minutes earlier. You sort of thinking about where it might be sitting, seeing a lot of the activity of some of the larger fish. Give me 2 just flat d20 rolls.
11 on the first one.
Yeah.
2 11s.
As you're pulling it up, you see it is a good length. It seems to be a river eel. It's something. You finally can at least finish the competition with at least not 0 feet worth of length. Give me a survival check. Flat roll.
Is it too late? Can I just burn my inspiration to re-roll one of those, or is it too late?
100%. This will be for luck to see whether or not, like
Right.
Fenrir, something bites onto the eel.
Come on, don't you fuck me.
Seeing whether or not the gods are feeling benefactual to inspire you a little bit.
14.
14. The gods, unfortunately, as knowledge around Kryn, have disappeared from this world, and they've also disappeared from your ask for help in this moment of need to impress Yalmi. You do manage to get something a little larger as you're pulling in the rod. The eel pulls free, and another one sort of jumps on. As you're sort of fly fishing the line up, and things are sort of just nibbing and biting, and finally one of the larger eels gets hooked on. Give me that survival check.
15.
15. You're pulling up, and like standing right beside you now realize that she's kind of come up and is cheering you on. Yalmi's there, sort of, you can do it, come on, Dagger, come on! And finally you rip it out of the water, and you see about 1.5 foot long, a mature adult river eel, as you finally caught something. You pull the line in towards you, and the biggest thing you've caught in 5-6 years. A good job done as far as you're concerned. There's a little bit of obviously letdown of it, but that is quickly stopped from a soft feeling on the side of your cheek as Yalmi gives you a quick peck. For the rest of the crowd, everyone sort of stopped, and the competition's now finished as they're measuring. Okay, so as everyone saw, we've got first place, second place, and third place will simply be a participation award of bragging rights. In third place here, we have, and the drum roll begins, newcomer to the town, Fenrir. And Fenrir sort of start walking up the stage, and they've got the sort of Olympic first, second, and third that you step on top of. Second place, we have one of the more proficient fishermen in the town. You all know him. John, and sort of just regular bloke with some big sort of steps up. He gives a bit of a wave to the crowd, and a couple of other blokes. Yeah, John, go yeah! And he sort of makes his way up.
John Smith.
John Citizen.
And you see that he had 5 feet worth of fish in total. And the beanie gets handed to him, chucks it on his head, and does like a bit of a bow to everyone. A couple of the same blokes, "Oh, looking pretty, John, you're so beautiful," as they're all shouting to each other. And in first place, yet again, and standing forward, Raven, as she says her own name, and steps up and stands on the first place. Some things don't change, do they, John? And sort of slaps him on the side of his cheek as he blushes and gives her like a shove in the leg, giving her like a dead leg as she sort of arches in pain.
So we're not going to discuss that she moved from her spot? No, that's not a thing. Okay.
If you want to be like that, then your friends technically got disqualified, but kept fishing on the 3rd round. I didn't say anything because I felt bad for him. He hadn't caught anything. So bygones be bygones.
Touche.
Lovely. But you do make a good point, and I did oversee some interesting things there at the fishing village. And she doesn't say it out loud because she doesn't want to sort of gain gratitude from what you can gather. But a couple of the people come by. Raven, would you like this to take your house, center of town, just near the village circle? Oh, no. Don't worry about taking it there. As far as I've seen, there's some people that would rather like it, and we're trying very hard. Could you take it down to the Brass Crab? As they sort of carry it up. Yes, no problem. Well, we'll head down to Yalmi, as if it wasn't for Fenrir's little quip just there, Yalmi wouldn't have had this, as you did manage to do something successful still, even if you didn't win the competition. But as you're walking down, a couple of people that you don't even recognize start coming, handing you free fish cakes and food as you manage to get like a full handful. You basically got enough food now and snacks for everyone for the rest of the day, dinner, and no one has to spend any more, as everyone's just handing you free stuff. What's your name? You got a fishing title? A little kid comes up. Is your hair flaming at the moment?
Yeah, actually. Would you like to touch it?
Yes,
No,
please.
No, you might burn it.
But a couple of sort of like all looking towards you, seeing what your fishing title is. John sort of shouts forward, "Yeah, what's your fishing title?" They call me John Quickhands, and he sort of goes like this with his hands sideways, not very quickly. What's you? You seem to be a pretty good fisherman as well.
Fish fingers.
Fish fingers. Lovely, lovely. Well, fish fingers. Next time you're here, if you're here next year, we'll have a little bit of a go. But otherwise, good chap. And sort of walks along and gives you a slap on the back and makes his way along with the rest of the boys, and who start picking him up. John, John, and they start carrying him down the wharf. But otherwise, the rest of you gather all up together, and sitting close by. Relena, Ada, Tal, Fenrir, Dagar, alongside also Yalmi, who's sitting with all of you, sit down along the side of the wharf, finally having a bit of a breather, and Dagar sort of drying off and retching some of his clothes that's drenched in water. Fenrir, that was so amazing. You didn't tell me when you arrived at the wake that you were a fisherman.
I'm really not. Honestly, just luck and determination.
Oh, well, they say those are the best qualities for a fisherman. So, next time you come back to Vogler, maybe you can bring some things down to the brass crab for me. But you're even surprised yourself. You grew in a mountain, under the ground, away from water. This is not what you expected. But otherwise, you're all sort of sitting around at the moment and just having a bit of a nice time. Back across from the competition, relaxingly sitting in the grass, the conversation sort of coming to a bit of a somber, quiet moment as Bjorn is sitting next to you, Leo. Boss, you ever think that we could head back and serve in the forces? I know that you had that moment up in Esterwild and all the boys. You, me, and Drow, we got away, us three. We're safe, and you don't blame yourself. You told both of us, I was in a rage at the time, that if we went back, we would have just died as well and had the same fate as them after death. It's not nice. If it wasn't for you, neither of us would be alive. That's why we followed you and why we left, but I won't lie. It's nice being in the Turuk Mountains, but I enjoyed protecting the people. The big city, stuff like that, the women, the alcohol. This festival's kind of reminding me of it a little. Do you ever think we might go back to Calaman?
Leah's gonna just start packing up all the fishing gear, packing up the fish that he's caught, and like putting him over his shoulder, and like starts to walk back into town. Grabs his shoulder and says, "If it's a life that you want, you feel free to go back to the big city. You've got your life to live, but those days are behind me. We're protecting the city in our own way with the mountain pass that we watch. Might not be as action-packed and as fast as the big city, but it is simple and out of the way of men that would use you for no other reason than to give your life."
Okay, that makes sense. Well, hopefully your wife and the little bubba back at home are all good. I won't admit that I don't... I worry about them a little bit, obviously. The little one's nice and plays around. And your wife, she's a fighter at that, so I'm surprised that you found someone so ferocious. I still can't believe how you guys met, but I just worry. It's Taman Basuk. I've heard rumors when we've been doing our jobs and work and stuff like that. There's danger to the east. I don't know, just when we get back, talk to some of your sources around the mountains and at least give it a think for me. The safety of your kids, even though it's quiet up there. There's mountains that you were talking about as we were sort of waffling on just now, south of here, that Nightlund area. You could set up shop there. There's going to be bandits along the mountain edges itself. You don't need danger to be happy.
No, but it's distance and peace. And if I am not doing something, I'll probably go stir crazy in my old age. At least this is a little bit peaceful, a little bit nice, and we're still protecting the far edges of the realm.
Okay. No problem, Captain. Well, despite my own worries, you saved my life. I got a blood oath now.
You owe
He
nothing
sort
to
of
me. If you want to go and join the forces,
shut up, and he slaps you across the face.
yeah, and
Okay.
then boots in my hand, fishing gear on my shoulder, just walking back into town.
You in back. We should head to the city circle. Apparently, there in the village, I saw Hedan had found one of the locals. Him and her were having a nice little chat during the festival. Might be able to go and do some dadly embarrassing. And sort of as you both of you and him have a bit of a chuckle and head back into town. On that mark, for all of us, we're all going to head back into town as well quickly, as we're going to have a quick break. We'll be back probably in about 10 minutes. Grab some water. If you haven't had your dinner yet or you need to heat something up, go and do that. Bring it here. Eat while you have some fun with us. Have your food and your drinks. Go to the loo if you need to. If you've been holding it off, get rid of that. But otherwise, we will see you all back very soon for the second part of the adventure as we enjoy the Kingfisher Festival. Hola, hello, ahoy hoy. We're back. Hope you got your dinner. I've got mine. Lovely burger and fries prepared up by my partner. So I am going to be stuffing my face. But we are finishing off with the second half of the session as the Kingfisher Festival is taking place in our world of Dragonlance. I apologize. With everyone so far, there's been a lot of frustrations, a lot of merriment, and to be honest, some vocal calls just like that, as there are cakes being had everywhere, pies, sausage rolls, drinks. Everyone at this point in the afternoon, with the merriment of song being played and shouts being done, children playing and running through the streets, are getting to the point into the afternoon where the reenactment is probably only about maybe half hour, an hour away. It's hard to tell with the point of the sun. I have to probably go and check with someone. But because of that, it's been about 4 hours of heavy drinking. Many of the town at this point are in well sways. Obviously, you already saw that Lord Baccharis had reached that point much earlier than everyone else. But a lot of the townsfolk are at that same point now. You can hear sort of revelry coming from the Brass Crab, as you did see John and all of his sort of fishing lads headed down that way for some drinks as well. Mayor Raven is kind of walking through the streets and making sure that none of the kids are getting in on any of the hard stuff. But a lot of the adults now are in very merry spirits. And starting to sort of wander around as you guys are having your nice sort of conversation. A woman sort of approaches up, stumbling, and sort of slouches down on the seat beside you all, beside Ada. Honey, that is beautiful! And like grabs your wrist and like lifts your wrist up to her face. Where did you get it from? Are you mute? Are you okay?
No. Okay.
Lovely. Where did you get it? I need to buy one.
Point.
Hopefully the store's still open.
I'll just point in the direction and I'll look at
Down that way.
Rainier and be like, yeah.
Courtney! And another girl sort of drunkenly stands up. What? Look at this! And she sees your wrist. Oh my god! And sort of sits down next to you. Here, and passes you her sort of mug that she's holding. You take a look in, and it seems to be like red wine, not ale. Judith, that's the little Kender's work. You know, the one that plays all the fancy things, and yeah. I was like, oh, okay. Well, we'll head down right now. You have a lovely day. You look beautiful. And they both sort of stand up and start heading down that way.
You too, bye!
Leo and Bjorn finally make their way along the wharf looking for Hedon and looking for everyone else at this point, eventually wanting to go to the city centre where the tree is apparently where Hedon is. But along the wharf first, you see the rest of the sort of the group finishing up at the fishing competition. A small wave and both of you make your way over.
How'd you go with the fish, the comp? Did you participate?
Yep. Yeah. Fenrir
Dagar
placed,
here
actually.
caught. Sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
Dagar caught and this eel, and she holds up and shows like an eel about the same size as the one that you first caught, Leo. Isn't that awesome? He said it's been years since he fished. It's pretty impressive.
Very, very. I'm planning on just selling the fish, Fenrir. Would you like me to sell your catch as well? Catch?
Oh yeah,
Catchy?
that sounds good. We've been given a bunch of snacks. I'm pretty much done for food. So yeah, if you could sell it, catch a good price. Pun intended.
We don't really have a need for this. If your friends got food, do we want to give ours to Leo as well?
Yeah, sure. Well, if you want to sell this one, Leo, we might start making our way to go find Becklin, because I think she wanted us to adjudicate this reenactment, so we might want to find her before it starts.
Yeah, I'll just stop by the fishmongers, sell these off, and I'll meet you on the way there.
As you
Good
start
job with
heading off.
third place, by the way. That's good effort.
Appreciate it.
Bjorn sort of like confident but also gloating about his captain as you guys are walking away. Doesn't say it to anyone, but loudly to Leo. If only you participated in the competition, not even at the base area, and you managed to catch 8 feet worth of fish. As they start to make their way down.
Let the young have their games. I'm just in it for the relaxation. I slept half the time anyway, and I just
Dagar's nose starts to bleed again.
As you guys make your way down, as that would have been second place, obviously, with Raven still having 9 feet. But the impression still as they make their way off, and the rest of you, it looks like looking for Becklin. Yalmi sort of looks towards you. I'm going to head to the inn. I know that Becklin had also spoken to us, along with Mayor Raven. They were wanting the brass crab to supply some barrels of ale to bring up to the hill. Obviously, it's about a half an hour walk up there. So we try to bring so that way people can keep the drinking and keep the fun going on as a bit of a crowd forms around the reenactment itself. So I'll see you later. And she places like her hand on your hand while you guys are sitting down.
Well, yeah, we're heading that way anyway. Do you want us to take some barrels up?
That would actually be lovely. I've got a worker with me, but I only recently hired her, and it's always a bit of a trek going up the hill. We usually get some of the other blokes to help us carry them, but they always tip into the casket a little bit themselves, and we only end up getting half up there. But I know that I can trust you, so that would be awesome.
All right.
Lovely. If you don't mind, I was speaking earlier, and Pearl has said that he wants to play a bit of a tune while we make our way up to the hill. I know that he's not everyone's taste, and you see a bit further down with a sort of mohawk that is then also like a comb over going down one side of his face, covering his left eye, the drummer from before with his single hand drum, who's a little bit off eating some food at the moment.
Any chance they know horses?
Are you okay with the music?
It would be lovely.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll see you there. And gives a little nod and then a curtsy and a wave to Relena and Ada and makes her way off. But as the rest of you are getting ready at the moment, are you guys going to find Becklin first or follow after Yalmi grab the things? What's the plan for the rest of everyone there?
I'll start making my way towards the brass crab to get the ale things. Because they need to go towards where Becklin is anyway. So I'll grab a barrel under each arm, pretend good boy, and then start heading up.
And I'll roll 1 because I'm not tanky at all.
I'll just supervise because I'm definitely not tanky at all. So
No problem. From Tal and Relena?
Ryan will help Ada supervise.
I can just imagine these like girlfriends walking beside, being like, "We're gonna make sure you guys are doing it right," and like, we're walking behind the group, just chatting. What is Tal doing? Is she joining in on the girl fun, or is she doing something else?
No, she after the whole fishing thing, she goes to Fenrir and like bumps into him and shows him her book, and in the back she's got drawn in like him holding a third place, going like and like his fish that are exaggeratedly huger than what he caught, with a big smiley face in the corner, and just like looks at him.
I'll keep the same performance check for this. It looks pretty accurate. You kind of look kind of handsome. She's even drawn you like chest proud, chin up, a large hero, chisel jaw.
You got my good side. No one gets my good side. Thank you.
And in the background of the photo, you see the other fishermen of our team like sideways, getting like dragged into the water as he's kind of like getting pulled in.
As you all begin making your way, from the girls, from Relena and Ada, as they're also taking a more relaxed stance on this, as the boys stand up and Tal is preoccupied, and all start heading, as a group you head into town, but as the girls sort of link up again, can I get a perception check from both of you?
22 for Elena.
Nice.
Oh, natural 20,
Nice.
baby.
Yeah.
With a natural 20 and a 22, both of you are in the same time as you stand up together, linking arms, very friendly again, in the sort of happiness, getting ready to sort of skip your way towards where Becklin is and the brass crab. Look across the river. The river itself is about probably 80 feet long. It's a bit of a distance. And across the 80 feet of the river, you see someone mounted on a horse. There seems to be a person standing beside them, and with your natural 28, you see the person standing beside the person on the horse is holding a standard, like a large flag with the symbol of a nation.
Am I pick out the flag at all? Like the color or anything? Or
Taking a look at it, there seems to be a symbol of a very ornate and Gothic-styled rose. There's sort of barbs going up along the edges of the flag, and then the center of it is the rose itself with an ornate design. It seems to be black and white in make, and the person on the horse seems to be a knight in some sort of grayish armor. There's not many colors along either of the individuals, as they're sort of just standing there watching at the moment.
I'm just gonna bump Relena and be like, do you know what that flag is? Can you see it? Like,
Does-
As you
would
guys-
I've seen it?
As you guys make eye contact and look back, they're both gone.
with
What
the horse and the center bearer.
Yep,
There's-
just gone.
Did you see? Do you see them?
I did.
Am I
thought.
tripping? Am I
I
tripping?
swear I saw someone on a horse. You
Yeah, there was
walking
someone on a
past,
horse.
a drunken person sort of bumps and hears both of you talking. Oh, you saw a horse, did ya? Well, you probably saw Vogler. There's rumors that he watches over the town. He'd definitely be watching two beauty gals like you, and reenactment time. You know I'm taking part in the reenactment, right? And sort of stands in front of both of you now. I'm one of the militia. I serve in the forces here, and sort of sword plays
that's
with nothing in his hand.
crazy. Oh yeah, no, good luck. And we're gonna like keep scooting around him.
Sword play drunkenly as both of you begin walking behind Fenrir Tal and Dagar.
Dagar's like gonna have the two barrels like at his arm, and just kind of like shoulder bump him as he's like kind of like checking the goes as he walks past. Just give him a shoulder check.
And I
Keep
roll
going.
the barrel over his feet.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Oh my, God. Okay.
I think it's time to lay off the ale there, mate. Maybe stick to
Your
sitting down.
mum needs to lay off the ale, and he sort of falls down onto a seat.
Good job.
The old your mum.
Was that the horse and the standard bearer? Were they with someone else, or was just the horse and the standard bearer?
It was there was a horse with a knight on top of the horse. The
Yep.
horse was armored, and the standard, the rider was armored. Both were in some sort of plate mail. It looked like a cataphract horse, like a very armored horse.
Yep.
Very just greyish armors. No colors could really be seen to indicate anything. And then the standard bearer also was wearing some sort of suit of armor. Less armored though, probably like half plate. But again, just greys, whites, and tinges of grey. And the flag was white and black with the colors of the rose in the background.
Would we either of us have recognised the flag at all? Have heard any stories about the design or?
Can both of... Actually, just Ada. Can Ada give me a history check?
Okie doke. Oh,
23.
23. Oh shit.
As you see it, you don't know the history of Vogler. You don't know who this Lord Vogler that protected the people is. But you do know that that symbol is vaguely familiar, but a very old representation of what was used for the Knights of the Rose, one of the 3 orders in the Knights of Solamnia. Right now, it's a symbol of usually a red rose with a white flag background. So that kind of looked like it, but an older version that you've seen in books where they didn't use dyes at the time.
Oh. Cool. Yeah, I'll relay all that to Relena if anyone else.
Yeah, as both of you
our
kind of
friends
gossip a little bit
listening.
about the fact that that may have actually been the ghost of Vogler watching over the town.
Len's gonna like take out her little her pendant and like actually put it on now and just kind of tuck it into her shirt.
Put it on, you feel like a little bit of a thrum from it, like when you first accidentally cast the guidance spell without realizing. You just feel it as you're sort of focusing on, okay, I'm good, I'm safe. No, ghosts aren't real, ghosts aren't real. And you guys start to make your way, eventually with Yalmi, who meets up with a couple of other workers, and not as many as usual. There seems to be the female that she spoke about that's helping her carry some of the baskets and boxes, and then a couple of townsfolk. But you see now the congregation of everyone making their way up towards High Hill, and heading past the village circle. As you guys make your way to the village circle and your group is there, Leo, you first arrive, as you've already been heading this way to head to the fishmonger, which you've been told was in the center of town. You and Bjorn are here probably about 5 minutes before everyone else. There's already some people starting to stand up, rolling up their picnic blankets and start making their way towards the river gate north. But you do see sitting down next to 4 teenage girls, Hedan, who's sort of holding out his long sword and is sort of turning it, showing the shine and sharpening it. He's sharpening it with a rock at the moment.
I'm gonna get a bit of bait from that I used. And then standing back, but on an angle where he was going to know it come from me, throw some bait just straight at him. And just stand there.
Give me an unarmed attack roll. Lovely. As you grab a good bit of fish out, a couple of the bits in this barrel that you or stuff that you were carrying from your basket, you'd already pre-sliced up, and so this is one of the heads. You've got the body. The body's already been emptied out and gutted and ready to be sold. This is just the leftover head, which sometimes people buy, but most often than not, it's chucked in the bin with the rest of the guts. You put your finger just underneath the gills and the chin of the fish, and then flick it as it flies through the air and lands right onto the neck and ear of Hedan and then splashes across 2 of the 3 girls as you hear the followed, oh my god! As they're all screaming and start standing up and all instantly disperse without a second thought, like seeing a spider or something gross, as they all quickly stand up. Some of them start wiping themselves and they run off. Turning around, a sigh.
Boasting, are we?
Putting down the rock. No, they were just asking me how I wield it, and I was sharpening the blade. That was
boasting, were we?
You boast to Mum.
That was in actual combat, a little bit different. So let's just keep it there. Also, we've got some fish to sell, and I'm going to throw the fish to him to carry.
You throw it onto his lap as he's sitting down, landing on top of him and the long sword that he's holding with a thump. Dad, the reenactment's now. If I come and sell with you, I'm not going to be there.
No, we're going to sell the fish and head up there and meet our friends.
Okay. Promise?
Of course.
Okay, good. I
have to adjudicate, whatever that means.
I may have promised some of them that I was going to participate.
Oh, excellent. Well, that's going to be fun.
Yeah. It's going to be good. I finally get some real combat, and he tries to like shove your shoulder, but like does not have the strength to push against your giant body. He's a big lad himself, but the tankiness of you. But you guys start to make your way. Bjorn sort of just chuckling the entire time from behind. Ladies' man, just like his father. Although stories you told me about you and your wife, though, you bested her in combat, didn't you?
Let's just sell some fish.
Maybe he has to tell him to see if he can get into a fight with one of the girls, see which one he beats up. As you sort of wince and laugh for a second. But remembering a little bit back to your wife, who, unlike all the people in Vogler, remembering back to town for a little bit, was also a sort of mercenary. You both did meet on some sort of fight. But as you make your way to the...
Fenrir, Leonard Fenrir be like, did he just say he beats his wife?
Oh, the fishmonger! Get out of here!
That's what I heard.
Oh, he's the wrong person.
As you guys get ready and head over to the fishmongerers, you do see behind and hearing the jokes and laugh, the other group is sort of caught up and as already making their way now to Rivergate, whereas you guys instead head to the left, the opposite side of the fishbowl of the village circle, to a small building that you can already see a couple of the other fishermen that were in the competition doing the same thing. You make your way up, wading through the crowd with Hedan. It only takes a couple of minutes. Everyone rush, everyone's sort of shouting, we need to get there. Even the salesperson, the man there, sort of cutting the fish up for people that haven't got it. Well, I told ya, if you gutted this then you would have been going there quicker. I want to go and see people fighting as well. You know that John always gets wasted and falls down the hill. You start things quickly and finally you guys come up. How much you got? Lovely, thank you, bless your soul. At least someone knows what they're doing, and looks over the rest of the crowd. Okay, chuck it on that, and he's got like a little scales just beside him.
Yeah, just very, like, almost like within an order, like the longest one, then the littlest one, and then the littlest one, in like very particular order.
As you, the OCD of Leo showing ever so slightly as he places everything, finally weighs up to the amount that is from all the 8 feet worth of fish that you'd caught. Lovely. Okay, that should equal you to not too shabby. 2 gold pieces. Here, it reaches down, grabs them out. There you go, and slides them on the table and pushes them across in front of you. He then sort of reaches forward and grabs one and looks towards you. As you snatch it out of his hands. 50-50.
You didn't catch any of the fish.
I sold it though. You made me come.
I'm gonna just pull out a silver piece and put that in his hand.
As you place it in, eye roll, and then a little chuckle from the fishmonger. Boy, I'm gonna work your wage here. Anyway, next on, and you guys step to the side as you start making your way up the hill. Eventually, after all of this, met the final member, Thar, the more quicker, heavy crossbow-wielding member of your entourage, who sees you guys in the town circle and meets up. Captain, nice to see you again. How's your day been?
Relaxing. It's been good. And as I'm walking up as well, having this chat, I'm going to, as I see Fenrir rolling the barrel, I'm going to flick it to him and say, your payment for the fish, and then I'm gonna just pick up the barrel and pop it on his shoulder.
Lovely. Fenrir, you get 1 gold piece.
Thank you, Leo, and also thank you, guys. Shoulders. Yeah.
It looks quite difficult and inefficient. And I'm pretty sure that guy back there is a crushed foot, but that's okay.
Thar steps forward into a bit of a closer near your ear, Leo. Just want to give you a heads up. I've prepared everything for our eventual, obviously, leave. I know Hedan's excited about the adventuring. We'll take the same path back. I asked around the local taverns, and on the south side of the river, apparently there's been some problems of an owlbear with some of the wheat farmers. So if you want to go and clean that up, that can be some experience for him, and then head back home. I've grabbed enough provisions for us if we want to take that detour. Apparently the owlbear's south. But from there, we'll head back home, head back to the keep.
There'll be a little bit of a detour once we're on the southern side, a little bit past the city. You and Bjorn will take my son home. I've got some business in the mountains with some new friends here.
Oh, okay. No problem, boss. We'll take him back. Make sure you're safe, though. And starts making his way up the hill alongside the rest of you. As the group sort of gathers together in this entirety and begins making its way up the hill towards High Hill in the area where the reenactment's taking place, there's women and children running alongside you, some trying to catch up to their kids, other kids playing and having fun. Some of the children still have their kites and they're walking it up along the area. A majority of the younger folk are now being carried by their parents, tired from the long day of running around and playing, and the rest of a lot of the men and some of the women are giddy, being sloshed at this point from all the ale that has been drunk, making their way up the hill, which is about a 30-minute walk. There's rabble and talk and shouting from everywhere, a couple of songs being sung by some of the men, something about a Kingfisher finding Benegog the Bog, stuff like that. And then beside all of you, the lovely boom, 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 boom.
Oh,
My soul
Fuck me.
is like soil. Dum, 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 dum. Because it is brown. As you guys start making your way up.
I'm gonna look around at all the friends and be like, how about we just pick up the pace to see if we can outpace this this noise and do a little bit of a jog, just to try to distance.
You guys start shuffling on a little bit, and as you get maybe like 5-10 steps a bit of a distance away, you hear the sort of jogging up behind, and then sort of a pirouetting in a dance. Dum 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 dum, brown like feces. Dum dum, and starts like dancing around all of you as Yalmi also quickly catches up. Oh, I know you guys are excited. I guess we're heading there a bit more quickly than the rest, and she starts like speed walking along with all of you.
Yeah, just excited to get there, you know.
Adjudicator business, we gotta go, and then I'm gonna start doing like the Terminator style, just banging up the hill, getting away from that noise.
As you guys start making your way up. As you're about halfway up there, you're interrupted by a familiar voice running up alongside all of you from behind. You see and hear Derrit Highwater, the young boy, the squire of Becklin. Becklin's friends, Dagar, Fenrir, sort of catches up. So I've heard you're going to be adjudicating with all of us for the reenactment this year.
Yeah, there we are.
Lovely. We can definitely use the extra pair of hands. Sometimes neighbors get into fisticuffs, stuff like that, so we need to break it up. There's usually about 40 people doing the reenactment, so it gets a bit chaotic, like an actual battlefield, which is kind of cool. But hey, no, I'm very excited. Did you guys enjoy the festival? Did you get up to much?
Had some relaxing fish catching time. It was nice.
Dagar, stay silent.
I joined in that fishing comp.
Ah, lovely. Did anyone beat Raven this year?
No, she's quite good. She takes it seriously. I did not picture her being fishing.
She's not one of the fishermen technically, but her family kind of comes from it. Vogler has kind of just been a title that's been given to the mayor of the town, the person that we sort of elect to lead us. It's not really an actual recognized role from what Becklin's told me with the state. It's kind of just something that the town decides. But yeah, her family, they were fishermen here since Vogler was founded. So she's strived to be this leader for the town, wanting to sort of repay the ancestors of past. She really believes in that stuff really strong, which is nice. But she's a bloody good fisherman. One year, a couple of years ago, as you guys are walking along, and begins to tell a bit of a tale about how she nearly caught Benagog the Bog, and like the line was on, Benagog jumped out of the water a couple of times, and then after a bout that went for like 5 minutes, snapped the line and went off. But as you guys are sort of walking up the hill itself, is there anything in particular anyone would like to be doing as you're all sort of just quietly making your way up?
Just getting away from that noise.
Not a problem. As everyone's quickly making their way up, one thing that does sort of stop for a second and grabs attention is you're getting a bit closer at this point now, and in the tree line, all of you sort of see near the bottom of a even bigger hill here where you've just arrived. It's been a sort of elevated walk so far, what you'd assumed is the hill. You finally now arrive to what is First Hill. It's a very sheer hill at maybe like a 60-degree angle, going up probably 50 to 60 feet. You see that there's some fenced off area to the left, and some stands for the civilians to sort of sit at beside of the hill. And then there is a sort of railed off area at the top of the hill. And at the bottom, you can already see, preparing up in their gear, all of you in the tree line at the bottom of the hill, the Iron Bridge Brigade. You see Cudgel there. She's sort of loudly, boisterously shouting, and you can hear her voice but can't hear what she's saying. And a couple of the other soldiers sort of putting on their actual armor and whatnot. But you see all of them grabbing their sort of weapons, and you can see them placing things on top. And you recognize the same spears that you had seen in town from some of the fishermen. And you now see at the top of the hill Becklin up there with the mayor and several of the fishermen that you had kind of seen before. You see a couple of familiar faces as you guys make your way up the path towards this like box where Becklin is. And you see them doing the same thing, putting like large bits of like wood, cork wood, on the edge of spears, which is obviously the town militia's just basic weapon to protect in situations like this, just blunting them for the reenactment itself. Down to the bottom, as you also are making your way up a bit deeper in, you do see Gregornis there, Fenrir, who's sort of sitting down and is sharpening an axe rather than like holding a spear and putting a cog on it.
Yeah, I'd like to take that guy on for real.
Becklin sees all of you sort of walking up the hill and waves down. Lovely, good to see you all. I'm glad Derek found you all. Come up, we're just getting finished. And you guys make your way up to the top of the hill. You see that there's about 24, roughly, militia men here that sort of serve in the forces. And then further down, you can see more starting to put on their clothes. It seems to be another sort of half a dozen, roughly, where there might be about 40-ish members in the town militia. We've got a bit of a bigger reenactment this year, so we definitely need all of your help. With the Ironbridge Brigade, every member of the militia this year is actually partaking as members of the Vogler Knights. I've designed it here. We've got the line, so we're all going to just be equally spaced out. If you see anything happen, go and help. I'll get a couple of you to be at the bottom of the hill, behind the Iron Bridge Brigade, for people that may fall down the hill, as that does tend to happen. That's the main thing. A lot of people breaking their ankle, stuff like that. The drunkenness and the boisterous funniness of it can get a little bit serious here and there. So make sure you're keeping an eye out. Raylina, thank God you're here, and you actually look across and you see standing next to Raven and Becklin is your mother. She's there as well with a basket. Hey, honey, and doesn't want to fully like embarrass or interrupt you, as you seem to have like your friends at the moment. But otherwise, they should be getting ready in the next probably 20 minutes. Raven here is going to do an announcement, and after that, we'll get underway. For the rest of you, if you would like to prepare here, are any of you participating? And he then sort of raises up his hand. Yeah, I volunteered and signed up with the Warfringer earlier. And she's like, okay, if you want to go down, grab one of the spears, chuck the cork on it, and chuck on just some of the militia gear there. Anyone else? And just looks across the sort of crowd of all of you.
Just here to judge and watch.
To the judge.
Just here to
Okay.
watch.
Well,
Yeah.
that's not a problem at all. I think they've already got enough, and it's a tiring thing. So for now, if all of you want to position up, he then sort of gets into the deep of the crowd, and you guys start getting ready. Watching everyone sort of putting on their gear, getting prepared. I'll pass it to you guys again for a little bit of role play, or if there's anything anyone would even like to check or do, or some rolls, or just as the militia's getting ready on the sort of slope of the edge of the hill on the backside, and the Ironbridge Brigade, about probably 50 feet lower at the sort of tree line, is starting to prepare their final things. It looks like May Raven has already walked across to the crowd, far to the left, and is starting to do her speech at the moment. And the Relena has actually also gone over there with her at the grandstands. But yeah, what's everyone doing?
Is Backlund with us? Like, currently in our position?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I just want to ask her, like, in regards to our orc friend, half orc friend.
Okay.
Yeah, what's the deal with him sharpening an axe? I thought this was just pretend reenacting.
Takes a look down the hill. You are right. I might go and actually have a chat to her about that. A chat to Cudgel, and just get that fixed up. Derek. Derek sort of runs over. You've been here for a while. You've been my squire for a while, and I know that we've spoken about your ceremony. And Derek sort of gets shy and quiet for a second. Dagar, you instantly recognize the ceremony is what they get when they get their badge. The insignia, which they pierce through your clothing, which shows that you are the next rank of whatever you're going to be. I have been taking it with some serious consideration lately, especially with our new friend here as well, who may be wanting to do the same, and gives a bit of a almost like a questioning expression to you, and shrugs her shoulders, but looks back towards Derek. Why don't you be in charge of the reenactment this year? You can tell everyone where to go. I'll head down and have a chat to Cudgel before everything begins, and then me and her will make our way up and around towards all of you as the reenactment's ongoing. Yeah, okay. I've already been studying how the war went, battle tactics, and everything that you taught me in the books. I've been practicing all the riposts, and I learned a couple of things from a brother over here, and looks towards Dagar. So I can use some of those fancy moves he did when he quickly hit me there, and possibly put out any trouble causes. No, that would be awesome. Thank you. Lovely. Well, Dagar, would you mind watching over with Derek? I know that you've got a good memory of the measure as well, and you can make sure that the things that are useful are being followed here, and make sure things are done properly. Maybe act a bit how you used to act, with righteous and courage.
I don't know if that last part is a bit of a stab, but I'll kind of just give a nod and I'll make sure the kid doesn't fuck it.
Okay, good.
I'll just give him like a little shove.
Well, I'm gonna head down, but I'll catch you all probably 20 minutes. Gives you a bit of a salute with her fingers and makes her way down. She does give a bit of a side eye just back towards yourself and Derek. If you'd like to give me an insight check.
Yeah. Ooh, 21.
Lovely. She seems to have a sincere smile that sort of comes across her face. She didn't mean it offensively. She's sort of just... You can tell by the way that she was speaking now and the way that she was acting that she really wants the knights to be what they used to be. And she's not just really even talking to you, but kind of talking to herself at the moment. Wanting maybe you three to be the rebirth of the Knights of Solemnia. To a big if, and obviously you guys are in no position to do this, but you can tell that she's still trying. A lot of knights have given up. Some are just working as mercenaries. Unfortunately, you are one of these ones that had given up as well due to your bad mentor. you can tell that she's still trying really hard to keep the order going and the goodwill that they have going.
As she kind of makes her way down the stairs, I'll kind of just wait a second, then I'll like straighten my belt up and like adjust my capelet so it like sits a bit more properly, and then like kind of hold my sword and then just go out to the like balcony and kind of overlook. Because we're in a tower, right? We're in a little like
correct. No, you guys are on the hill as well. There is just a sort of fence railing along the top and a couple of bits on the side as well with a tree near the top of the hill, and you guys are on one side of the fence railing. Already, as you guys are standing there along the fence railing, spaced out, all of the militia are starting to sort of go far along the lefts and the rights, probably about maybe 100 feet in that direction, 100 feet in that direction, and it goes over a fairly large distance. You see that some battalions have kind of been set up on the left and the right, and it seems like there's two main forces that come down from either side. And you see that the mercenaries have done the same at the bottom of the hill. Two large forces on the left and the right getting ready to run up as well. Derek mentions to you, so this formation was used by both sides. It's meant to be a flank, basically, where the battalion splits in half. You already know all this is explaining it to you, and they go around either side. Istar had done this trying to flank the Lord, but with quick thinking, he shouted out the orders and instructions, and they countered it with the same formation. So it simply turned into who was the better swordsman and who had the advantage, and Vogler had the high ground. So one way or another, Vogler was saved. But with us in the middle here, this is where Becklin usually likes us to stay positioned. That way we can quickly dash to either side if need be. But I guess we'll get ready. He steps in front, a little bit nervous, but starting to get sure of himself.
As he kind of steps up, I'll just give him a little like reassuring tap on the back. And the ogre, they're like they're his like allies. Are they in the fight as well? Like, are they taking part as one side, or are there's like some of them mixed into the group?
So all of the mercenaries, the Iron Bridge Brigade, had been a part of the bandits. They're acting as the bandits below. None of them are up in the militia. But just as you're having a look around, give me a perception check, as you're just looking for Dragonelance anywhere.
Yeah, after like being told after hearing Fenrir say that the ogre had the accent, I want to see if like their spears have corks on them and making sure they have the weapons aren't lethal for a dirty 20.
Lovely. You take a look down and across them, and you can see that some of them still have some scabbards at their waist and things such as that. But otherwise, the spears that they're all holding do seem to have corks on the tips. The main ones that they are holding with both hands, getting ready to sort of run up the hill itself. You can see sort of plate mail on the padded leather on the front of their plate mail on their chest, getting ready to sort of take the brunt of these blows, and also to make them look more bandish rather than wearing like the metal armor. And you don't see Dragonelance anywhere. Okay, everyone, we will be getting ready for the Battle of the Reenactments now. Both sides on the release of the Kingfisher, we will begin the reenactments. Have a fun time, and one of the sort of villagers to the left shouts out, and all of you sort of recognize and see John, the winner, wearing his same beanie that he just won with a couple of fish hooks in it. Dirty bandits! Vogler's gonna destroy ya! On for the night! And raises his hand and like drops his spear onto the ground out of his hand straight away. As he fumbles with it, and a couple of the other guys start laughing and grabbing their own things. You take a look left and right, all of you, and you can see now about half of the fishermen militia are holding the spear in one hand, rather than double-handed, and a mug in the other hand. Out of the 40, there's like maybe 13 or 14 people that are doing this, and John is one of those ones that's still drinking as he's about to get ready to fight. As that happens, you see back over in the stands, there's some sort of shouting from the crowd and cheers, and then a big roar as you see a lot of little boxes on the ground get opened, and flying out in a flock you see many beautiful kingfishers. The blue coats with orange underbellies flying off, and in a sort of swoop they come up and then slowly make their way in the sky disappearing into a tiny cloud, and then towards the Vingard River as they go in search of fish as a sort of group of them. As that happens, a charge and shout with laughter and glee included in it happen from both sides as the humans start running down with a couple of dwarves matched in between here and there, not many, and the mercenaries begin running up the hill as well. As they're sort of clashing into each other, can I get a perception check?
From everyone?
Yes.
Okie dokie. I got 12.
Lovely. So, perfect. Relena, very good, and Dagar. Relena and Dagar, as everything's sort of taking place for both of them, everyone else is just looking at the knights. That the clash hasn't happened yet. Both forces are making their way towards each other. Derrett's kind of talking in the background a little bit about stuff about how the Knights of Solomnia had an ancient victory over Istar. How Mayor Raven managed to convince Cudgel Ironsmile to participate in it as well, which is new information because obviously that means Becklin's probably down there in the fight looking for Cudgel somewhere. As everything's happening, passing through the woods and the fields, Vogler's parade of militia members begin to reenact the battle itself, running down from one end and running up the other end. As they're sort of sprinting towards each other, Cudgel shouts out, "Let's send those Vogler rats running!" And there's a bit of laughter from the people uphill as you can't finally catch eye Cudgel running up the hill with her mercenaries, and see Becklin sort of beside her in mercenary gear as well, who obviously looks like she's been roped into it as the trumpet begins sounding. As they're just making their way towards each other, with the perception checks from Relena and Dagar, there's a glint on the sun coming off of some of the spears in the crowd. Sort of blinds both of their characters for a second. You then notice, and Dagar, you spot Gorgonus wielding high above his head his steel war axe.
Motherfucker.
The unexpected sound of metal clashing, armor rings across the battlefield, silence falls across the battlefield and across the stands to the right as melodramatic boasts stop, and a ribbon of red splashes across the grassy hill, followed by shocked screams, and any pretense of the reenactment is shattered, as High Hill is the site of a true battle once more, and within moments all around you armed mercenaries are attacking unprepared villagers, fighting for their lives. Some run out of the trees, starting to attack the stands themselves, where Relena's mother is and where Mayor Raven is. Can I get everyone to roll for initiative in a second?
I got goosebumps and Jesus Christ, what the fuck happened there?
I'm coming for that guy's head.
Would anyone get annoyed if I went out of my way to just beat up that kid? Like the
Not at all.
Smartass?
As you're going past, just backhand him.
Just use him as a shield.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Give me 1 second. And I'll bring everyone over to the map in 1 second.
I love.
Oh shit, where's the initiative up?
I love that for me.
It's up the top.
Oh, to right, there you go, yeah. And
Yeah.
blind.
What's your glasses do?
Oh, there's no active combat encounter, so we can't click it just yet.
Yes, the game's paused.
You just have to wait 1 second.
Oh, good.
Is that on the actual initiative word?
Yeah, if you
on
click
your
on the
character
actual-
sheet on the
yeah.
top right is the initiative word.
Oh, see, it's been a long time.
Okay. Sorry, 1 second. I'm just having one error on my side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You as well. Sorry, my computer is having an issue. Do we mind if we quickly just reset?
Sure, no worries. I'll just put a... Yeah, that's no worries.
Quick ad on the stream. Sorry about this, guys. I'm just getting... I think it's a Windows update. Bear with me 1 second, everyone.
Be right back.
Give the attention eye.
Okay. We are back. As you can all hear from the background, the Battle of High Hill and the betrayal, as it later became known in actual history and the continent, is currently taking place. For all of our adventurers, they've been waiting at the top of this hill below, with a large battle happening to the left and a large battle happening to the right. Soldiers running out from all directions as women and children try to run in different areas, as the Iron Bridge Brigade seem to have betrayed the people of Vogler here, under control of Gorgonus, the giant harp ogre, and possibly even Cudgel as well. Cudgel Ironsmile, the friend of Ispin Greenshield. It's not known, but as chaos happens everywhere, all of you are just left in shock. Blood splattering across the area, and unprepared villagers fighting for their lives. As that's happening, all of you have little opportunity to help villagers, as running down the hill out of the trees from behind the area where you'd all been preparing, where the militia had come from, you see 4 war horses start galloping down, all with a mercenary each, and they appear to the right of all of you. Can I please get that initiative roll for everyone? Okay, so as fighting happens everywhere, screams from people left and right. Leo, your son, is somewhere in the mix of the fighting on one of these battlefields on the left or the right. You're not sure where he got positioned. Relena's mother is back near the grandstands. But this combat is the very first time you guys have done one of these war combats in the new book released by Dragonelance and Wizards of the Coast. Despite some stuff going on nowadays, they do some good work sometimes. And this is one of those scenarios and situations. Basically, this battlefield is going to be unique to many situations you'd ever come to in D&D before. The flamed area that you see around the edges of the map is what is called the Fray. The Fray is the large area of combat of clashing citizens and people. Actual battlefield. Hopefully you guys have seen things like Game of Thrones or Troy or stuff like that, as it's just utter and complete chaos left and right everywhere. The Fray, when you enter it, is difficult terrain, half movement. A creature that enters the Fray for the first time on their turn makes a dexterity saving throw, or takes a certain amount of slashing damage from opportunistic foes, or accidental hits from friends. The Fray can't be damaged, and it remains until the end of the battle. But otherwise around you guys, you see the sort of stone fence in front of you, which might provide some sort of cover if need be. There's the wagon down the end where some provisions had been left as well in between the 2 battalions, which also could provide some cover. But the horses directly to the right in front of Raylena and Tal, in an unfortunately bad position for them. Across the other side, we have Derek and Dagar, as Derek was obviously organizing the sort of call to arms for everyone for what was meant to be the reenactment. But up first in the chaos of everything, Fenrir, you're quickest to act, kicking off your foot with those roguish speed that you're known for and helps you on the streets. What do you do on your first turn?
Beautiful. I'd like to use my cunning action to dash back, possibly into that tree, jump up in the tree, grab some height.
100%. I won't worry about an acrobatics check if you're using your bonus action to dash. Instead, you dash across, run up there, and then climb the tree. Even though it's half movement, it gives you enough to get up the entire way as a quick leap running across the edge of the brick and then flinging yourself up. You manage to get about 15 feet high.
At that point, I want to take my short bow out to rain hell on one of those, the nearest horseman, if possible.
100%. Give me an attack roll. Checking with this, by the way, for me, because I've got stats for both. Are you hitting the mount or the rider?
We can just see the horses. I'm not sure about everyone else, but I can only see horses.
Correct. At the moment, it's just going to be the horses that are shown there. Until the horse is taken out or the rider is taken off the top. either situation at the moment, the horse will just be the main icon that's shown there as they move around.
Okay. I'm going for the rider. The horse looks friendly.
And unless it doesn't look as pretty, but unless you wouldn't mind that, does that make you feel better, Rami?
Oh, amazing. I don't mind. That's fine. That works as well.
Okay, so as you're aiming at, what did you say? Sorry, Fenrir.
Just the guy mounting the horse.
Okay, no problem. Give me it.
Is this with advantage or?
It won't be with advantage, as it's only the first round of combat, but you didn't use any sort of hide action. You instead got an advantageous position. So it's going to be harder for them to reach you as you are 15 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
But no advantage on this roll, sorry.
Okay, no worries. 10.
10 to hit. The arrow fires, and even though a 10's low, it's not that bad. Like I mentioned, the Iron Bridge Brigade, the ironclad armor that they're wearing from this regiment, only covers half their body. The ironclad is sort of a style of half plate, which all of them are wearing, and the arrow skims across his shield, nearly hitting his arm, as he sort of holds up the leather shield on the side of his horse. That's your action, movement, and bonus action, however, unfortunately, as the arrow skirts off. Next up, we have the horse rider just here, who gallops up beside Tal. As the horse sort of comes into view, the rider isn't proficient enough, lucky enough, to get the horse to sort of clamper down onto Tal at the same time. It's simply being used as mobility. However, the rider does go for a slash. So, as the spear that's now untipped comes down towards Tal, we have a 16 to hit.
She is going to, just standing there, just pop her hand up, and there's the kind of black force field pops around her, and she's going to cast Shield to bump her AC up to turn that into a miss.
As your hand waves around in a circle, arcing around you in the same sort of wave pattern that your hand moved, you're covered in a faintly foggy dome with spectral pits coming everywhere. The spear makes contact, and the fog sort of condenses on that one spot, almost like like a type of sand hardening upon impact, and grabs it in, the blow, as it misses with the one attack that the Iron Guard regiment can do. Up next in combat, we have Relena.
She is just wide-eyed and in a panic. She's going to just like hold on to the symbol around her neck and then just run back away from these guys towards this tree.
Let me unpause that, so you should be able to. There we go.
There we go. How do I come here? Yeah, so she's going to just use him to get behind this tree, and then she's going to kind of look out and see if she can make a perception check to see her mother anywhere in this fray.
100%. Give me a perception check.
For 22.
With a 22, in the fray to your left behind you, you can see many people fighting and running, women sort of running away, but luckily enough, the militia that was here numbered in about the same numbers that was in the mercenaries of the Iron Brigade. So most of the sort of militia are trying to hold off the Iron Brigade in one-on-one fights. You can tell straight away that they are losing. However, from this, they are protecting the civilian. So you see your mother for a quick second before you lose sight of her. It's not enough to track her down and find where she's going, unfortunately. You're still stuck here in the middle of combat, but you know, if you know that she's alive and you see her sort of running around, she quickly runs to one person, grabs him by a shoulder, and they disappear into the crowd as she's still doing her job trying to protect people. That's your action. Anything for bonus action?
No, she's freaking out at the moment, so she's just gonna she's gonna stay there.
What is the most prominent thing on her mind at the moment?
Right now, just panic and fear for her mother. Like, it is just fear for her life, but like mainly just panic for her mother that's out there.
Okay.
And she's kind of just like there praying for help and just like freaking out under the tree.
As you're sitting there praying, now this is a bit unique for Relena and a bit of a unique gameplay mechanic because obviously usually a player makes the decisions, but Relena doesn't know the changes that have happened to her with this new sigil that she received in her vision. So I would like you to use one of your first level spell slots as Relena sort of praying, putting her hands together. A faint light sort of glows across Relena's mother as she's running through the crowd, and you cast Shield of Faith on her, increasing her AC by 2 without realizing. You haven't even known that it's happened. You're sort of just wanting her to be safe, and the magic just happens by itself. You don't even realize, because of the quaking of the ground from the footsteps of all the horses trampling along, that you don't feel the thrumming of the talisman inside your hands at the moment, as the infinity blue symbol begins glowing, as gods that were thought long lost from the world may start to slowly come back as you start to have divine power not seen for 100 years. As that happens, however, that is Relena's turn.
It is.
Up next, we have Dagar. What are we doing?
I'm going to turn to Darrett and say, don't engage, protect the civilians. And I'll gesture towards Relena kind of carrying under the tree. And then he's going to turn around and run towards these charging bulls, but he can't quite get there. Oh, stop it. He can't quite get there. So he, on the run, he's going to just pick up an errant javelin from the ground and then just kind of jump up and bonus action rage and then throw the javelin at the horse of this front left rider here.
Okay, 100%. So as you're running, picking the spear up and almost like a Olympian athlete getting in that arched position, give me an attack roll as the weapon fires from Dagar's hand.
A natural 20.
Very nice.
Nice.
As the javelin flies towards the horse itself, dealing... did you roll a 1 and a 1?
1 and 1. Awful. Absolutely awful. So 6 points of piercing damage to the horse.
So, a natural 20 still is a natural 20, and this was something that was always going to be a part of it, but the javelin basically lands into the side of the horse, which reels up in pain, and runs off neighing as it leaves its rider behind, running off the back.
And I'm just going to slowly draw my sword out and start walking towards this dude, and that's the end of my turn.
Okay, give me 1 sec here. I'm just going to do a dexterity saving throw with disadvantage. The guy that was on the horse, the Iron Bridge Regiment with his clad armor, is knocked prone as he falls onto the ground. After that javelin fires from your hand and the rage begins, let's indicate that with a little symbol. Let's have this angry-looking eye marked as you're marked with your rage.
Love it.
After Dagar, we have the horse over here, which... They're all going to start trying to pick people off one by one. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. As they're all finding their marks. Sprinting up in this direction. Spear not going towards the large sword-wielding Leo. Instead, missed for the unarmored Relena. Does a 19 hit?
Oh, it sure does.
Relena takes 5 piercing damage as the arrow, the spear jams into just above her collarbone, about 3 inches deep, and she pulls the ironclad soldier pulls it free, as you see like a female guard staring back at you. That's her turn, as there's just no gloating in this moment. You can just tell that this soldier's fighting for her life, just as Relena sort of is looking back. Both of them. Can Relena give me a quick insight check?
Yes, she can. Natural 20 for 26.
Her eyes underneath the helmet and facial expression seems to be just as scared as Relena for some reason. But that is her turn. Up next we have Darrett Highwater. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Darrett gets just outside of range and pulling off of his hip that he had been holding, slings across a heavy crossbow and fires it towards the rider that had just hit Relena. with an attack roll of a 6, unfortunately. The horse is going back and forth, and Leo, you sort of swing your sword up into the sky, and Derek, trying not to hit anyone, sort of fires backwards, stumbling a little bit as the arrow darts off into the side. And he quickly starts leaning down, trying to reload it, getting ready. Realizing that obviously it's wasting time, he is beginning to now drop it to the ground and unsheathing his blade. As he starts shouting to protect the civilians, basically, towards everyone. Leo, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
Turn around real quick and just like push his hand into like as he's trying to sheath his sword, push his hand so it de-sheathes it. Then I'm going to tell him, get out of here, kid. And then I'm going to swing my greatsword around on this Wally on the horse with a great weapon attack. Let's hope my macros work. And if I hit, I'll expend a Divine Smite. For a 17 to hit.
17 does hit. Give me an attack. Give me damage.
It is going to be a lot. Plus 4, plus 10, plus 2, 8. For 36 damage.
Okay, very nice.
Oh boy.
Also, that was the plus 10, so it was technically a... Oh, you already did the -5.
Yeah, I did a macro for it, so it does it automatically.
Okay, that was a good roll. Perfect. Okay, with a 17 to hit and 36 damage, your sword swings across, and Dagar and Fenrir, both of you see this sort of otherworldly strength that Bjorn had been talking about with Leo. A large grunt comes across, which rivals your rage, Dagar, and the knight and his plate armor is sliced from shoulder to shoulder as the top half of his torso falls clean off with a and falls across onto the ground. The top half of sort of just a stomach and legs left on top of the horse, as the horse sort of neighs in front and jumps over the stone and starts running off with the dead rider. As you take out one instantly with the first hit. Lovely. Action. You haven't used movement, and was any of that a bonus action? I don't think so.
No. So I'm going to turn to Riala and be like, focus. We need your focus here. As I move up to this poor dude who's going to cop another attack. How do I move myself?
So
Click
5,
on the
10,
square one.
15, 20, 25.
Yeah.
How are you making the second attack?
If I kill someone with
You are right. I
great
forgot
weapon
about...
attack,
I knew that it did that with crits. I forgot about that when you kill a target.
Yeah. I can bring the hate one more time. So let's do it with advantage because I'm his prone.
Great Weapon Master, when you roll a critical hit or when you reduce a creature to 0 hit points. 100%. Yeah, give me one more attack with advantage as you go to plunge your guts-sized greatsword into his body.
Same again, if I hit, I'll do another Divine Smite. Oh.
Many Joe.
14?
As you go to slam down, he puts up his own hand, and your blade just slices through hand, forearm, as the length of your blade probably goes from the middle of his forearm all the way to just in between where his elbow is, the width of your blade. Pushing through that area and sinking down as he's trying to hold it back, it starts going closer and closer towards his chest. Roll me damage.
31.
God.
You push it down, and as you sort of pull it clean, his body lifts up a couple of feet, tumbling ragdoll to the side, and you see that you'd pushed it all the way down into the soil of the ground as a bit of dirt is ripped clean as well. As Leo is doing what Leo does best. After Leo's turn and a roar that happens, you hear some of the guards shout back, "Focus the paladin!" as they see you sort of charging into battle. Ada, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
Yay! I'm going to move my 30 feet, and then I will aim at rider down to end, and I'll send a firebolt.
Okay, give me an attack roll.
Remember. Boy. Do it again. I've had a mind blank.
So
My
you'll go to your
spells.
spells. Yep. And then on the word of the spell, if you highlight over it, it should give you the option to put it in the chat box. There you go. Now that it's in there, attack.
A 12.
No, that was the Divine Smite.
Sorry, that
from
was...
Leo.
Apologies.
Oh.
He stole your roll. So no, now click on the attack. Natural 20, lovely. Roll damage.
Yay. I was aiming for the rider too, not the horse. For 6
Perfect.
fire damage.
So, it's a crit, so that's doubled to 12. As the way that we're doing it here in this session, everyone at home, we're doubling everything based, so modifiers included. A little bit of a homebrew rule. And some of you that have read the Dragonlance books, just for a quick stop for a second here, all of these battles are slightly amped up, as apparently the people here that were playing 2 characters thought that they could deal with a bit more dangerous stuff. So we'll see how the Battle of High Hill has slightly changed because of that.
Ooh, okay, that's not enough.
But with 12 damage, your firebolt fires forth from your fingers. At first, it just forms into like crimson energy and then starts taking shape into an actual element as it roils forth. And then the span of like half a second, this happens, and then it shoots forth at a quick blast. And as it does so, it scorches the side of the man's face. As you hear a scream, he reels back in pain, and with a few singed bits of hair on fire, he slides off of the horse, being dragged underneath its stomach, being carried away. And you get a glimpse of like the missing eye and nose and cheek that you'd scorched away, and seeing the exposed jawbone and teeth from your firebolt, as he is carried off as well, as he also runs off into the fray and disappears. At the moment, there's just that one left next to Tal. Is there anything for a bonus action from Ada?
No, not at the moment. She's all so she's just gonna stay there, doesn't get too close because she bitch.
Okay. After Ada, we finally have Tal with the Iron Bridge Regiment Mercenary in front.
First things first, she's going to hold up her hand, in this wispy shadow with this red kind of glow begins to circle around, and these chains start to form around his body as she casts Hex.
100%. Love it. As he's marked with Hex, he starts to get wrapped around them. He still moves his hands, and he seems to be able to move fine. Like, it doesn't seem to be affecting him. He's kind of confused, worried a little bit as he shakes his spear around. What ability score are you giving him disadvantage with?
Just strength. Strength is fine.
Strength. Lovely. So, that is the bonus action. What is
and
our
then
action?
as an action, going to cast the cantrip Booming Blade. And attack roll.
Would you like to explain to me, because you did explain it a little bit in the prelude, but this is the first time for all of our viewers here, how your Tal's Booming Blade looks as it's unsheathed and swung?
So she pulls a sword, and like this, just electricity begins to cover the blade. But if you look closely, so probably those with high perceptions, the Raylena, and probably... Yeah, that'll probably be it. You can see like this red glow to it. As she whacks this guy.
As the sword slices up, the electricity sort of coating the blade with a thin layer as the electricity slices rather than the blade itself. Give me damage.
I still need to hit first.
Oh, you are right. I just noticed that the spell doesn't give you the option to hit. Because it's a melee weapon hit, so you'll need to use your actual sword with a to hit first.
Oh, okay, yep.
So with the spell casting, make a melee weapon attack. So there's 2 parts when you're casting it, obviously.
Here we go, Hexblade.
Lovely. Give me an attack roll.
Attack roll 8. No bueno.
With the 2 on the roll, as the horse is sort of clampering back and around, the blade begins booming with magic, and as Tal begins swinging it in that direction, the horse, scared, arches up and stomps back down towards Tal, smashing the sword out of her hand for a second as it gets stuck in the side of the wall She quickly goes and grabs it and pulls it back forth, but that's chewing up the time of this round in combat. Did she still want to move and possibly get away?
10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Up to there, she will move.
Okay, the Ironclad does go for one spear jab down towards her, trying to hit for a 21 to hit. With
hits.
only three damage though. So as the spear comes down, it kind of just scratches along the neck of Tal, not actually piercing the full length of her neck though, which is what the soldier was attempting to do. Lovely. As the first round of combat comes to a close, you will look around and you already see that many of the sides of battle have already started to come to a close. Militia dead everywhere. You don't see a single dead regiment member in many different areas at the moment. But taking a look around, you actually start to see that some of the regiment are actually fighting other members of the regiment as well. And a majority, however, it's unsure what's happening when suddenly all of you hear a bellowed shout. Well. I guess it's time for the rich boy to meet some dues. Tax collectors come. And you see stepping out from behind Relena, approaching everyone. We have Lieutenant Gregornus approaches with 4 clad guards from the north.
Oh boy.
From the right side, 2 more ironclads appear down the bottom of the hill, having won their fight. And to the south, having won their fight near the battle stands, 2 more guards appear. As I'll remove the dead as this horse runs away. This one's hexed but still alive. As Gregornus appears, a half ogre standing about 13 feet tall. No armor, unlike the rest of his regiment here. Confident in his own strength. And wielding a large axe in one hand, appears on the battlefield. Shouting taunts towards Fenrir as he raises his axe up, getting ready to slam it down on our squishy sorcerer down at the back of the group. As the axe comes up, coming down towards Ada's neck. We'll end the session there for tonight.
Oh no.
That's all.
I blew my load too early, guys.
Thank you all for watching. This is the first battle in the Dragonlance campaign, the Betrayal of High Hill, and we'll see with it amped up to 10, as usually those horses are the end of the battle. But with Gregornus ending and a lot of extra things being added in right now, Gregornus usually enters a little later for those obviously with the book, but things have been changed up here as fate in this world is different. The adventurers are stronger, but the villains are just as strong. Gregornus entering with a slew of Ironbridge brigades who have killed many of the fishing militia around the area. Looking around, people dead left, right, and center. In the slew of everything, Hedon still caught up in the mess of all of it. Leo's son and Bjorn and Thar unknown where they are at the moment. Becklin lost in the crowd of fighting, possibly. We'll catch you all next week for the conclusion of this fight and to see if the party manages to survive or if we get a TPK right here. I'll catch you all next week. Hope you had a fun time watching. And this has been Christian with Hermes D&D running Dragonlance, the Shadow of the Dragon Queen, on the Twitch channel Upcasters. Come and watch us. And finally, I'll finish off with Raimi, letting you know about the other channel and, the other series that we also run on here as well.
Yeah, so Thursdays at the same time, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time in Australia. We will be running our pirate-themed campaign, which I'll be DMing with Geordie and Toby. So come and join that. We're about 11 sessions in, and it's starting to get into a spicy area, level 5, so it's a hoot. Other than that, if you could please like and follow, we're so close to being having that 50 followers, which would be amazing.
Already?
Yeah. We're at
Damn.
43 now or something. So
Lovely.
we're close. But yeah, other than that, it's been a pleasure.
I hope you all had fun, and I will look forward to chopping you all to pieces next session.
We just hit 51, by the way.
Hey!
We did actually refresh me at 51.
Nice. Thank you very much. Oh, thanks for the
Hell
raid
yeah.
as well. This happens almost every week, you guys. Always raiding right as we finish. Apologies, we should start maybe an hour later and then play an hour longer so you can watch the last hour and a half or something.
There are a couple of bits in this new story that are very cool boss fights. Maybe one night we could do a bit of an extended night if everyone's happy to stay up a little late. We can work that out in the future.
Always.
Yeah.
Do a bit of a sleepover with D&D.
Yeah, all night session. Let's do it.
Also, if you did want to re-watch the episodes, they are up on YouTube. Episode 1's up. Episode 2 will be dropping Wednesday. And then this one will be dropping the following Wednesday if you'd like to re-watch.
Same name, Upcasters on YouTube as well.
Episode 1 does have a very spicy ending as well, for everyone that remembers the interaction with the Sultan that had his face ripped off. So give it a watch and see the fun that ensues as the story began from the very beginning, in case you've jumped in for the first time with the raid or just yourself here. But otherwise, everyone have a good night's sleep, and we will catch you next week.
Thank
Goodbye.
you, everyone.